Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Deku had a second chance for vengeance part 1. If you guys enjoy this what if and want to see part 2, comment down below and let me know before I start. Please do support for more awesome content and leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also share this video with your friends and check out the description in my playlist. The author of the story 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗧𝗵𝗃 from WhatIf. So let's start the video. RDPOV. It was a lovely afternoon. The sun was shining bright and the wind was rustling. We saw a young boy playing in a park in the middle of 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃 with a young black-haired girl with ponytailed hair. It was Izuku Yagi, the son of Toshinori Yagi and Inko Yagi, and his childhood friend, 𝗵𝗃𝗃 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏. Izuku has known 𝗵𝗃 ever since she was a toddler, and they have been almost inseparable throughout their entire lives. 𝗵𝗃 demonstrates her quirk to a childhood friend while playing in a sandbox and building a sandcastle. Hey Zuzu, check out what my quirk is doing, as she is creating a Matryoshka doll with her quirk. Wow, that's so cool 𝗵𝗃-chan. I can wait to see what my quirk is tomorrow morning, he said excitedly. As 𝗵𝗃 giggled, hey Zuzu, let's make a promise right now that no matter what happens, we will stay together no matter what, and as a promise, take this, she said cheerfully while handing one of the Matryoshka dolls to him. Of course, we're going to be heroes together, he said, showing his 1,000,000 smile to her while taking the doll. 𝗵𝗃 looked at his eyes filled with life and joy, as she blushed a little while looking at his face. Hey Izuku, come on, let's go home. A straight-haired girl said, Mom has been looking for you. Her name is Izumi Yagi, the twin sister of Izuku Yagi, while waving her hand at Izuku, coming Izumi, bye 𝗵𝗃-chan, see you tomorrow, as he said goodbye. As he walked away from the park to meet with Izumi and his mother waiting in the car, they drove away from the park and headed straight home. But little did he know that his life was going to be hell. Next day, I'm sorry kid, but you're quirkless, said the doctor. 𝗬𝗏𝗏, he said quietly while sitting on the chair in the doctor's room. Izumi and Inko were shocked after hearing the news. His son didn't have any quirks at all. This has to be a mistake. Are you sure, doctor? There has to be some sort of mistake, right? Inko inquired. The doctor looked at her and then placed the test result on his table. As you can see, there isn't any extra toe joint in your son at all. And we ran a BLD test just to make sure and it showed no active signs of quirk. I'm sorry kid, but you're quirkless, the doctor said. Izuku was shocked. Without even realizing it, he dropped his all-might figure and just stared at the floor while holding his eyes so as not to cry. But the good news is that your daughter has the same quirk as you but is much stronger. If she trains herself every day, she could be an amazing hero in the future, said the doctor. After hearing the good news, Inko just smiles happily while looking at her daughter. Did you hear that, Izumi? You're going to be an amazing hero. She immediately turned around and hugged her daughter. They were so happy to hear the news that they didn't see Izuku looking at her mom with a sad look. Can I still be a hero even without a quirk? Izuku asked the doctor with a saddened expression. Of course, young man, remember what All Might always said about anyone having the potential to be a hero, the doctor replied. After he was done talking with the doctor, he didn't notice that his mother was already gone with Izumi to the car. He said goodbye to the doctor while the doctor was smiling with a pained expression and having the thought, poor kid, he's going to have a hard life. I'm just hoping that his parents will love him no matter what. Izuku is running to the parking lot, trying to catch up with his mother. Barely catching up, he entered the car and sat while looking at the window. On the way home, his mother kept praising Izumi's new quirk and saying that she would be the next #1 hero along the way home. Soon they arrived at their home, and his father greeted their children and asked a question, so how did it go? Well, Izuku is quirkless, but our daughter has a stronger version of my quirk, Inko responds. After hearing the news, his father turned around and lifted his daughter in the air to congratulate her. I'm so proud of you, Izumi. That's my baby girl. You're going to be a great hero, dear. After hearing that, Izumi just smiles happily at her father and gives him a loving hug. But in the corner of the room, Izuku is standing quietly while thinking that his family has already forgotten him. They celebrated Izumi for having a strong quirk by having a feast, but Izuku felt like he didn't belong there, so he just went to his bed and slept, hoping that tomorrow was going to go back to normal. But how wrong he was. Izuku Yagi POV. I woke up in the morning after a long day yesterday. Ever since I learned that I'm quirkless, my parents have been focusing all of their attention on Izumi and left me alone in the dark. But I guess it's just for a day, right? I'm sure that today is gonna go back to normal. I got up from my bed and headed to the bathroom to brush my teeth, and all of a sudden my mom called me while holding Izumi in her arm. "Izuku, can you let Izumi use the bathroom first? She needs to get ready for school." Before I can speak, Izumi has entered the bathroom and shut the door. I just stood there with a thought crossing my mind. What just happened? Did my mom just prioritize Izumi over me? No, I must be overthinking. Izumi must be exhausted after yesterday's party. So I just waited in front of the door, and after 15 minutes Izumi had already finished showering, and I went in to brush my teeth and had a shower. After I finished, I went downstairs to see both my parents and Izumi in the dining room. Mom is in the kitchen cooking a pancake and Dad just sitting while reading a newspaper. I went to greet them, but none of them replied to me at all, 'cause they were too busy with their things. So I just sit down and wait for my breakfast. When Mom finished cooking, I just saw 3 plates with pancakes and not 4 instead. I was confused, so I just asked my mom, "Mom, where's my pancake?" With a perplexed look, my mom replied, "Oh, sorry dear, looks like I didn't make enough for all of us." I replied, "It's okay Mom, I just grabbed an apple in the fridge or something." When I got up to open the fridge, there was barely any food left except a chocolate bar. "Oh Izumi, we should drive you to school now, it's almost getting late," says my dad after looking at the clock. After hearing that, I just grabbed the chocolate bar and went to the car with Izumi and Dad. I forgot my backpack in my room and went to get it. But when I got down and headed to the car, I just saw Dad drive the car to the school without me. I was shocked. Did my dad just leave me to go to school on foot? While I was standing in the doorway, I realized that I was almost late for school, so I just went ahead and ran. Thankfully, I remembered my way to school since I was 3 years old, so I'm not afraid to get lost. And after 30 minutes, I finally made it to the school. I was running till my breath was almost out and I was exhausted. When I entered the classroom, I got a lot of weird stares and many kids were whispering to each other talking about me. Based on the stares and the quiet talking, I know that they were talking bad about me, and I can hear some of them talking. "Hey, is it that kid that you were talking about? So the rumors were true. My friends say that we should avoid him at all cost. He looks pathetic. Careful, you may get his disease. I heard it's infectious." I heard many people talking, and I just sat down at my table and saw Izumi was looking at me with a mean look on her face, and I don't know why. Did I offend her or something? While Izuku was confused about his thoughts, Izumi was looking at her big brother and praying that her friend's plan to stop Izuku from trying to be a hero would be a success. Izumi POV, I hope that your plan is working, Kaken. Izumi thought about her friend's plan. Flashbacks start minutes before Izuku arrived. After arriving at the school, I'm walking to the class while still thinking about yesterday's doctor's visit. The thought of her brother can't be a hero doesn't sit right with her at all. It's like her parents telling their kids that Santa Claus didn't exist, that it's just a fairy tale. I'm still trying to be positive and thinking that it's still an attainable dream and that he still can be a hero. But she can't deny the fact you'll also like that day //villain Deku by Musical Leaf Juice 15 that day //villain Deku 3M1K that day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could Izuku Yagi. Hades Ring by Rix 999 Izuku Yagi. Hades Ring K9K 4 months have passed since the war between Japan and Outcast of Hell. Izuku Yagi is being locked in an unknown facility facing his punishment for his wrongdoing. The New Life with No Memories by 𝗧𝗵𝗃 New Life with No Memories 4K9K Izuku Yagi, son of Inko Yagi and Toshinori Yagi. Izuku was always a happy child full of energy and enthusiasm. That was until he was diagnosed quirkless. Luckily, his One Bad Life by 𝗬𝗵𝗃 One Bad Life 3K that day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could match 𝗧𝗵𝗃 by passing ghost friend 𝗧𝗵𝗃 K5K. Izuku quit dreaming of becoming a pro hero after 3 times of being denied. He decided to screw it and just be normal. He has part-time jobs. He recently graduated. Don't Let Go by Warrior Dragon 215. Don't Let Go 3K2K. Izuku always wondered where he went wrong in his life. He wondered what he did wrong to deserve everything he got. After I in turn messed up telling his parents he didn't. My brother is quirkless. He doesn't have a quirk. He can't be a hero. How can he fight a villain without having a quirk? It's impossible. That was all she thought along the way to school. And it doesn't help her at all after watching a TV show last night. After yesterday's party, she decided to stay late and watch television in the living room when a certain documentary program shows on the screen. It's called Life of a Hero. Behind the scene, it's an old documentary film that shows that being a hero is not just about beating a villain and saving the day, but the danger that comes from being a hero. Many heroes lost their lives because their quirk wasn't strong enough or because they lacked the training and the discipline to be a hero. I saw an old pro hero named 𝗧𝗪𝗪 with a heat quirk who lost his life in the line of duty because his quirk wasn't strong enough to defeat the villain, so he got killed. It shows everything that is happening behind the scenes of a hero's life. A pro hero that has to make an early retirement because of a permanent injury. A pro hero is just laying in a hospital bed with bandages all over the body. A funeral was held to honor the fallen pro hero with their entire family and friends. They're crying at the loss of a hero and a friend. The more I remember it, the more I realize that being a hero is not an easy job. You need a strong quirk to be a hero. Without it, you can't be a hero. You get killed in a line of duty. But it was his dream ever since he was little to be a hero, to be a #1 hero just like All Might. I'm trying to hold my tears as a certain thought enters my mind. What if Izuku tries to be a hero and he's got killed? She didn't want to watch her brother die. She loves her brother so much that she would do anything to keep him safe. As tears almost slipped through her eyes, someone tapped my shoulder. It was my friend Izumi Yagi and her twin brother 𝗬𝗂𝗍𝗵𝗃 Yagi. "Hey Izumi, why are you standing there all alone?" 𝗬𝗂𝗍𝗵𝗃 asked her. "Nothing, Kaken," I replied quietly. But when both of them look at my face, I can tell that they know that I'm lying. After looking at my expression, Katsumi decided to cut to the chase. "Izumi, come on, you can talk to us if there's something wrong. We're friends, right?" After saying that, I'm starting to think that she needs someone to talk to about this matter. It's not healthy to keep this problem to herself. But when I'm about to tell them, someone called my name. It was my friend Shoto Todoroki and Shoka Todoroki. Behind them is all of our friends, the future class 1. "Good morning, Izumi." Shoka smiled at her best friend. Katsumi and her brother replied to her greeting as well, and soon all of us were meeting in the playground behind the school. "So how was the test yesterday? Did you finally find out about your quirk?" asked Uraraka, before any of them could speak. "Well, my quirk is called telekinesis quirk. It's just like my mom but stronger." As I started to use my quirk to lift a couple of toys in the playground, my friends watched me in amusement. "Wow, that's so cool," said Mina with stars in her eyes. "Yeah, it's amazing," said Shoto while giving me a thumbs up. "Nice, Izumi," said Kaken while blushing a little after I said that. Some of my friends started to congratulate me. I feel like all eyes were on me and they started to admire me and my quirk. But all that happiness is about to turn upside down with the next question. "And what about Izuku? And where is he anyway?" asked Shoka while looking around to see him. "Yeah, where is Izubro?" said Kirishima. For a split second, I hesitated. They kept bombarding me with questions about Izuku's quirk that they didn't see the fear that I had in my eyes, and I was too scared to give them the answer. "Izuku is quirkless," I finally answered the question with a heavy tone. Silence. All the questions that they asked me were stopped with one sentence. Some of them have doubtful eyes, while others think that I was just joking, but by looking at my expression they already know that I was telling the truth. The Bakugo and Todoroki twins were quiet for a moment to collect themselves, but Momo was the first one to collect herself. "Zuzu is quirkless, this can't be true, right?" said Momo after a shocked pause. "You're not joking, right?" "No, Momo, it's true." While holding her tears, I told them about the doctor's visit, to the advice the doctor told Izuku to tell them about the documentary film that I watched last night. When I had finished speaking, Shoto looked slightly confused. "But there's no way a quirkless person can be a hero. They don't have a quirk, so how are they gonna beat a villain?" I know, and I'm afraid that when my brother becomes a hero, he's gonna get injured or killed." and I don't know what to do," I said to him while crying, and 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗃 and Shoko decided to comfort me. "Maybe we can convince him to stop being a hero," asked Kaminari. "And how are we gonna do that, dunce face? Aiken has been dreaming to be a hero ever since he was little. He's gonna try no matter what," Katsumi said with a sad face. As all of us ponder with our minds trying to figure out a solution to stop my brother from becoming a hero, Katsuki decided to speak up about what was on his mind. "What if we force him to stop being a hero?" he said. "What do you mean, Bakubro?" Kirishima asked. "Look, we know that Izuku is gonna be a hero no matter what, with or without a quirk. So we need to show him that being a hero is way too dangerous without a quirk," he said. "And how are we gonna do that?" Siro asked. "We need to bully him," said Kaken while looking me in the eye. "What? No, I'm not gonna bully my brother. Have you lost your mind, Kaken?" I yelled at him. "Is he crazy? I'm not gonna bully my brother just because he's quirkless." "Bakugo, you better be joking right now, 'cause it's not funny at all," said Momo angrily. "Look, we all know that Izuku is gonna try to convince himself that he can be a hero no matter what. And if we show him the danger that he's facing while trying to be a hero without a quirk, he's gonna give up eventually. Or do you want Izuku to get hurt in the future while pursuing his dream?" asked Kaken with an irritated tone while looking at all of them. While listening to Kaken's idea, I think that this might work. If Izuku sees the danger that he faces while trying to be a hero without a quirk, then he will stop and pursue a different career. As much as I don't like the idea itself, it's the best solution. We have to make my brother give up. "Okay, I agree," I said to him. One by one, they started agreeing with me on Kaken's plan to keep my brother safe. And finally, all of us are on board to bully Izuku just to make him give up on his dream. "Alright, but we can just bully him. We need other people's help, so we need to spread the rumor that Izuku is quirkless and they have to stay away from him no matter what," Kaken said brilliantly. "It sounds like we're trying to outcast him, but if that is what it takes to keep Izuku safe, then I agree to your plan, Bakugo," said Ito while chopping his hand. "Fine, but you better make sure we only do this until he gives up, alright," said Shoko while looking at Kaken. "Yeah, I don't want to hurt Aiken too badly, you know," said Katsumi. "I know that they have had a crush on Izuku ever since they were 3 years old, and so does Momo." "It's okay, sis. I'm sure that the nerd is gonna realize that his dream is impossible and he's starting to give up," said Kaken flashback. And as I was sitting in a classroom, I started to see that some of our classmates were talking about Izuku. Kaken and Shoto must have spread the rumor to other classes as well. During the class, everyone is avoiding my brother no matter what, and none of them are even talking to him. I guess everyone in the class is on board with Kaken's plan. After the class is over, I'm going to the playground while my brother is following me from behind. I saw the rest of my friends there while looking at me and my brother, and I saw Kaken coming over to me and Izuku. "Hey Izuku, do you still want to be a hero?" Kaken asked my brother. For a moment, I was hoping that my brother would answer no. That he will give up his dream and pursue another career, a safe career for him. But that's not the answer that I get after hearing my brother answer. "Of course, Kaken," my brother answered while flashing his smile at us. However, that smile was wiped out by a small explosion that hit my brother's body. It didn't give him any burn marks, but it was painful by the look on his face. He stumbled a little bit and his back touched the ground a little. "What are you doing, Kaken?" my brother asked while rubbing his wound. "Shut up, you nerd," said Kaken harshly. "Yeah, get away from us, you freak," said Katsumi while shoving my brother. "Go away," I said while using my quirk to hold him in the air. "Yeah, go away," Kaminari replied angrily. "Yeah, you're weak," said Kirishima harshly. "Hey guys, I just thought of something. Since he's quirkless, we should call him Deku. It stands for Defenseless Izuku," said Kaken while laughing. "Yeah, Deku, Deku," while everyone kept repeating the word Deku, Kaken had an idea while cracking his fist with a smirk. "Hey guys, let's teach this Deku a lesson that he will never forget. That a quirkless can't be a hero." Upon hearing that, all of us agreed with Kaken's idea. I'm holding my brother in the air while the rest of them keep hitting my brother with their quirk. They keep hitting my brother while he's pleading with us to stop. The sight of my brother's crying face is making me nauseous, but it proves Kaken's point. If this is enough to make my brother cry, then how is he supposed to beat a villain if he's a weak crybaby? The look on his sad face is enough for me to use my quirk to hold him a little tighter to make him feel pain. All his efforts to squirm out of my grasp were useless, as I'm starting to use my quirk to crush him a little. I can hear my brother scream through my ears, but that seems to make the beating more harder and painful. And after 10 minutes of non-stop beating, they finally stop and I drop my brother to the ground. Let that be a lesson, Deku. Never try to be a hero without a quirk. You're nothing more than a useless Deku. As I said that to my brother, I can see his face starting to hurt, not by the beating but by the words that came out of my mouth. But I just brushed it off and left him on the playground with the rest of my friends joining me. I felt a little bad for what I said to him, but once he's given up, he's gonna see what we're doing was the right thing to do. 'Cause all of us are doing this for his own good. Izuku POV, what is going on? All of a sudden Kaken and the others are attacking me and calling me names. They kept hitting me with their quirk and all of my body are in pain. I begged them to stop, but my cries were falling on deaf ears. It's almost like they're enjoying doing it. I'm yelling to Izumi for help, but instead, she's using her quirk to crush me even tighter. I can feel some of my skin starts changing color to red because of the pain. And after 10 minutes of beating me, they stopped their bullying and just dropped me to the ground and left me in the playground on my own with brushes all over my body. But before my consciousness dropped, I can hear 2 sentences from 2 people that hurt more than the beating they gave me. Let that be a lesson, Deku. Never try to be a hero without a quirk. You're nothing more than a useless Deku. I can't believe that you and I were friends. From now on, stay away from me. Those words came from his sister and his best friend since childhood. Izuku POV, pain aches from my body when I open my eyes. After I woke up from the beating my sister and her friends gave me, I can feel my body stiff. When I'm fully awake, I realize that the sun has finally come down and it's getting late. I'm trying to stand up, but my right leg is hurting from the beating and I'm walking with a limp. When I'm headed to my neighborhood, I can feel that some of my neighbors are looking at me with a disgusted look and giving me a stink eye. There were whispers and not the kind ones by I can tell, and they avoid me like I'm some kind of plague. As I was deep in my thought, I didn't realize that someone throwing an empty plastic bottle at my head and it hit my head. And the adult didn't reprimand or scolded the person. Instead, they praised the perpetrator and encouraged others to do the same. I was practically the clown of my neighborhood. A joke. A laughing stock. After a painful walk, I finally arrive at my home. I can see the lights on the balcony were turned on and I can hear my family's voices inside the house. But when I opened the door, I wasn't greeted with a warm welcome like I always do, but with an angered look on both my parents, and Izumi was crying while rubbing her arm. Before I could speak, I was being pulled harshly by my mother and she started to ask me a question in a demanding tone. Izuku, I was told by Izumi that you were pushing her to the ground. Did you do it or not? I was perplexed by the question itself. Did her own mother think that I pushed her to the ground? I can tell by the look on my mother's face that she was angry about something that I didn't even do. And I didn't do it. And no, Mom, I didn't do it, I answer her question while stuttering. But it seems that my mom didn't believe a word that came from my mouth. So she asked again with a loud tone. Izuku Yagi, you have 5 seconds to tell me the truth or you'll be in bigger trouble. But I didn't do it. I didn't push her, I replied. That's it. Go to your room, young man. Until you tell us the truth, you're not allowed to leave your room at all, said my father with an angered look. And no dinner to you at all, said my mom loudly. Can't handle the yelling and shouting, I just stormed out of my room while crying my eyes out. What is going on? Why is this happening to me? Why did her sister lie to Mom and Dad just to get me in trouble? Everything is turned upside down ever since yesterday's visit to the doctor, and not in a good way. The neighbor is being mean, my friends are turning against me, my best friend has abandoned me, my sister is bullying me, and now my parents have started to hate me. As I was crying in my room, I can hear a peal of laughter and happy voices downstairs. I quietly open my room and walk slowly to the staircase to see what's going on. My father and mother are sitting at a table eating a katsudon along with my sister. Laughter and joy can be heard from the staircase, as I see them laugh with no worries at all. They act as if they were happy to have dinner without me joining at the table. They were like a happy family. My father is having a lovely conversation with Izumi about her day at school, and she's just talking about showing her quirk, and the rest of her classmates and her teacher were proud of her, saying that she will be a great hero. She's sitting there talking about her day while leaving a small detail about her and her friends bullying me at school. After she was done talking about her day, my mom just smiled at my sister while praising her even more. "We're so proud of you, Izumi, you're the best daughter a parent could ever have." When those sentences were left in my mom's words, I felt my heart just sting a little bit. I watch as she's getting all the love, all the praise, all the acknowledgement, all the care in the world while leaving me in the dark. Since I can't take it anymore, I just quietly entered my room and just headed to bed while a tear slipped through my eyelid and a question with no answer. You'll also like That Day // Villain Deku by Musical Leaf Juice 15. That Day // Villain Deku 3M1K. That day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could Izuku Yagi. Hades Ring by Rix 999. Izuku Yagi. Hades Ring K9K. 4 months have passed since the war between Japan and Outcast of Hell. Izuku Yagi is being locked in an unknown facility facing his punishment for his wrongdoing. The New Life with No Memories by 𝗧𝗵𝗃. New Life with No Memories 4K9K. Izuku Yagi, son of Inko Yagi and Toshinori Yagi. Izuku was always a happy child full of energy and enthusiasm. That was until he was diagnosed quirkless. Luckily, his one bad life by 𝗬𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗵 one bad life 3K. That day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could match 𝗧𝗪𝗎𝗀𝗃 by passing ghost friend 𝗧𝗪𝗎𝗃 K5K. Izuku quit dreaming of becoming a pro hero after 3 times of being denied. He decided to screw it and just be normal. He has part-time jobs. He recently graduated. Don't Let Go by Warrior Dragon 215. Don't Let Go 3K2K. Izuku always wondered where he went wrong in his life. He wondered what he did wrong to deserve everything he got. After in turn messed up telling his parents he didn't, why can't they just love the same as Izumi? I didn't understand at all. Just because I was quirkless, they start to treat me differently, like I was an annoyance. And what about Momo? When she said those words this afternoon, it hurts him a lot. It's almost like she stabbed him with a dagger to his heart and drag it down to his body. I thought that she will always be there for me no matter what. But I guess those promises were nothing more than an empty words. As my eyes were closed, I'm starting to think about my friend's words at school. That I couldn't be a hero without having a quirk. But I know it's not true. All Might said it himself that anyone can be a hero. That has to include the quirkless too, right? I'll show them that anyone can be a hero including the quirkless. I'll prove them all wrong, that I will be a hero no matter what. But things have started to go downhill. When I woke up this morning, I realized that my parent didn't wake me up at all, so I was running late and they didn't make me breakfast at all. So I just grabbed an apple and headed to school while running. And when I arrive, people start to laugh at me for being late and because I was quirkless. Guess my sister and her friends have spread the rumor all around the school. They kept calling me Deku all morning and the teacher didn't do anything at all but smile at me. It's almost like she's enjoying seeing me being bullied. When recess started, I saw my sister and her friend coming over to me. Fear struck me as I was trying to run for them, but to no avail. My sister just dragged me to the playground, not to play but to teach me a lesson. "Ready for your lesson, Deku?" said my sister while smirking evilly. Please, Jay, just leave me alone," I said while trembling at them. "Wrong answer, nerd," said Kakin as he cracked both of his knuckles. Just like yesterday, they keep using their quirk at me, telling all to give up being a hero, that I was nothing more than useless Deku, a pebble, a burden to society, a quirkless reject. As the beating keeps happening, they keep telling me the same thing as yesterday. "You better give up your stupid dream, Deku," said Katsumi while punching me in the stomach with Kirishima. "How can you even think of being a hero, Deku? Only the strong are allowed to be a hero," Shoto said while he held my left arm and used his quirk to burn my skin, and Shoka used her ice to hold me to the ground. I screamed loudly at his quirk keep burning my left arm and giving me a burn mark. Because of the heat, I just crawled up on the ground while holding my arm. "Shut smack your smack mouth smack, Deku," as Kaken keep kicking my stomach till I vomited. Guess you still haven't understood Deku. I think we need to beat the lesson even more, as Kirishima, Kaminari, and Siro came over and hit me over and over again. Just give up Deku and all of this is gonna be over, said 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏. However, I replied back at them, never, I'll prove it that I can be a hero no matter what. Angered by my answer, my sister just lift a couple of rocks to the ground and hit me over and over again. Why can't you realize that you're nothing more but a useless quirkless Deku? As she said that, I'm just crying while I'm trying to block the rocks that hit me. Please stop it, sis. Please, I am begging you. Shut up, Deku. Katsuki yelled as he's using his quirk to hit me even more. Minutes have passed and they just left me on the ground with many bruises. I'm trying to get up but the pain got the best of me and I'm groaning from the pain. Slowly I stand up and walk towards the classroom, but when I came back, the other kids just laugh at my condition and keep calling me mean names and mocking me all day, but the most favorite nickname of all was Deku. Throughout the entire day, people keep calling me Deku, that it's my actual name instead. They kept bullying me and mocking me in the classroom, and the teacher just sit in his chair while drinking a cup of coffee. Why is she so ignorant of one of her students getting bullied? Is it because I was quirkless so I wasn't important to her? As school ended, Izumi and her friends just dragged me from my class again, and just like recess, they kept beating me up again and telling me to give up being a hero. However, I keep telling them that I will be a hero no matter what, and that just angered them even more as they keep beating me more and more. Just like yesterday, they left me on the ground with a bruise all over my arm and body. As I walking to home, the neighbor keep laughing and calling me pathetic and a worm. One of them is calling me Deku, and I guess a student from my class living in this neighborhood, or Izumi and her friends just spread the rumor in our neighborhood. In a single day, I became a laughing stock in my neighborhood. They keep laughing along the way home as I just run home crying while they just keep laughing, and the laughing just gets louder and louder. And when I arrive home, something unexpected is happening. The front door is locked for no apparent reason. I was confused. Did they leave the home without me? And where is everyone? I was thinking of waiting at the front door in case they went home, but then I heard the sound of laughter in the living room, so I took a peek from the window. It was closed with a curtain, but I managed to take a little peek from the side and it broke my heart even more than it was. There were Izumi Bakugu twins and Todoroki twins along with my parents, and they were having a movie night, I guess. They were sitting on a sofa happily as if nothing was wrong or someone is missing. Kids, how were your days today? Did you guys have fun? Asked my father. Of course, sir, we were having a blast, said Katsuki while smirking at my father. Yeah, Dad, we were playing in the playground this afternoon and everyone is having fun, Izumi answered. Well, I'm glad to hear that, kids, says my father while giving a smile at them. I just silently cry while looking out the window at the sight in front of me. Why did they leave me out? And did Izumi just say that everyone is having fun bullying me in front of my father and he just smile at them? I was awakened from my thought when my mom called them from the kitchen wearing an apron on her. Kids, dinner is ready, says my mom. All right, let's go and eat. Your mom is making your favorite. It's katsudon. My father says while my sister is jumping excitedly. Wow. I love katsudon. Come on guys, let's eat. Izumi is inviting her friends to join her. Come on Shoto, let's eat, said Shoko while holding his hand and smiling gently. Don't forget to wash your hands, kids, Inko said from the kitchen while preparing for dinner. When my mom said she was making katsudon, my mouth drooled a little bit because I haven't eaten since morning. But I was crying because they didn't realize that I wasn't joining them at the table and they started to neglect me slowly. Without making a sound, I just silently climbed to the rooftop with a ladder that my father left in the storage room and pick a first aid kit as well. I just climbed the stairs quietly and enter my room through the window while crying. I grabbed a first aid kit and tried to tend the wound on my own. I figure since my parents will be too ignorant to actually care for me, so I just have to do it by myself. Turns out that it is very difficult for a 4-year-old kid to tend to his own wound without any medical knowledge, so I'm just trying what I can do while trying to hold the pain. And after I was finished tending my wound, I take the first aid kit and put it in my drawer cause I had a feeling that I may gonna need it in the future. I got up from the bed and opened the door and headed downstairs cause I haven't eaten since this morning. When I arrived at the kitchen, I didn't see any food at the table at all. Nothing except a few dirty dishes and pots in the sink. I'm trying to grab a banana at the table when my mom suddenly comes into the kitchen. "Izuku, what are you doing?" asked my mom. I replied back, "I was just trying to get a banana." However, my mom just replied, "You already eat your dinner before, and why do you need to again? And don't eat that banana, Izumi needs it more." My expression darkened at my mom's reply. "What dinner? I haven't eaten all morning and my mom is assuming that I've been eating all the food in the fridge. I was starving since the morning and they didn't give me food since morning. How can my own mother didn't take care of her own child?" Without looking at my mother, I just walked past her and headed to my bed. And my mom didn't even say goodnight to me at all. It's almost like I wasn't her son. When I woke up in the morning, it was just like yesterday all over again. My parent didn't wake me up again. No breakfast for me. I was late for school and was laughed at by everyone in the class. My sister and her friends bullied me. The class made fun of me. My sister and her friends beat me up again. The neighborhood is harassing me along the way home. My parents neglected me for my own sister. I tend my wound and go to bed. And I slept. And the same thing is keep happening over and over again. Wake up late, being made fun of, get beat up, being made fun of, get beat up, being made fun of, get neglected, go to bed. And it's happening all over again. Every minute, every day, every week, every month, every year. 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗶 I woke up after having a long day yesterday. I couldn't sleep because of the pain that is still sore on my body, and I think that some of my ribs are still broken because of yesterday's beating. My eyes are open and I see a small yellow light that is hanging on the ceiling. The dust on the ceiling is building up and there are a couple of baby cockroaches crawling on the ground as well. While sitting on a mattress floor, I woke up after I heard a loud stomping on the stairs. Guess Izumi just come downstairs to get ready for school. If you're wondering why I just woke up in a place that looks like a cupboard under the stairs, that's because it's true. Ever since I was diagnosed quirkless, my parents have begun to neglect me. It starts with ignoring him in favor of Izumi, then they forget to cook his meals, and then they forgot to give him an allowance and pay for his education fee. But the worst thing they did was tell him to move out of his own room because they want to turn his room into a personal gym for Izumi. So they decided to move him to the cupboard under the stairs for temporary, but as time goes, temporary has become permanent. Everything that is happening under this house is always about Izumi. Izumi day, Izumi favorite, Izumi priority, Izumi training, Izumi hero dream, and Izumi future. I'm just living under Izumi's shadow. She was born lucky, while I was lucky to be born, and things haven't gotten better at school either. Izumi and her friends, lesson, have gotten worse. Their quirk has been stronger and better than before, and they just using me as a dummy practice for their quirk. A personal punching bag for the next generation of heroes. I was dispensable as I see it. They didn't even treat me as a person, nothing but dirt on their bottom shoes. In the last 10 years, I have experienced every type of pain that someone can ever mention. From punches, kicks, bruises, broken arms, broken legs, broken ribs, explosions, burn marks, frostbite, acid burns, stabbed by a knife, being struck by electricity, claw marks, bleeding ears, being slammed to the ground, getting crushed by a tree, and many more. Most people wouldn't be alive right now if they were sitting in my shoes. I still can't believe that I'm alive and breathing at this point. Who knows, maybe God is like to have me here, to be his own amusement as he watches from the top. Those punches and bruises may hurt my body a lot, but that was nothing compared to what I felt a couple of weeks ago. Flashback start: I was just walking in some dark alleyway while trying to head home after my daily beating that Bakugo and his Baku squad just gave me. It was the same thing just like every day. They beat him up in some back alley and used their quirk to keep hitting me and telling me the same thing over and over again, like I was a useless piece of SHT, that I shouldn't be a hero. However, this time Bakugo decided to test just how much power his blast can be, and guess who's the lucky boy at the receiving end? Me, of course. They decided to tape both of my legs and arm on some old abandoned building, and Kirishima, Kaminari, and Bakugo just keep hitting me over and over again. It's like they trying to experiment on what's gonna break first, my body or my spirit. I was barely conscious, but I can hear their laughter clearly seeing me in this condition. They don't feel any form of guilt or remorse. Because in their mind, what they did was right. Hey Deku, still want to be a hero? 𝗵𝗃𝗀 asked while smiling maniacally. I was quiet for a while and trying to catch my breath. Hey, answer our question you stupid nerd, said Kaminari while slapping my cheek. 𝗬𝗏 and never give up. You cheer me. I answered while trying to hold the pain in my chest. You'll also like that day //villain Deku by Musical Leaf Juice 15 that day //villain Deku 3M1K that day. They didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could Izuku Yagi. Hades Ring by Rix 999 Izuku Yagi. Hades Ring K9K 4 months have passed since the war between Japan and Outcast of Hell. Izuku Yagi is being locked in an unknown facility facing his punishment for his wrongdoing. The New Life with No Memories by 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 New Life with No Memories 4K9K Izuku Yagi, son of Inko Yagi and Toshinori Yagi. Izuku was always a happy child full of energy and enthusiasm. That was until he was diagnosed quirkless. Luckily his One Bad Life by 𝗬𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗵 One Bad Life 3K that day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could match 𝗧𝗪𝗎𝗪𝗏 by passing ghost friend 𝗧𝗪𝗎𝗪𝗏 K5K. Izuku quit dreaming of becoming a pro hero after 3 times of being denied. He decided to screw it and just be normal. He has part-time jobs. He recently graduated. Don't Let Go by Warrior Dragon 215 Don't Let Go 3K2K. Izuku always wondered where he went wrong in his life. He wondered what he did wrong to deserve everything he got. After I in turn messed up telling his parents he didn't when they heard my answer, 𝗵𝗃𝗀 wasn't satisfied with it, so he just kept hitting me again and again. I can't tell how many times he hit me with his quirk, but all I know is that it really hurts and I can tell that they weren't gonna stop with this no matter what. Why won't you give up, 𝗧𝗏? Face the facts. You're nothing but a stepping stone in my life, a worm beneath my shoes. Get it through your thick skull that you're nothing more than a useless quirkless piece of 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏. As he fires the last explosion, the walls behind me shattered because of the impact of his explosion. So I just got blasted and my back hit the pavement. Because of his blast, I passed out because of the pain that my body can't handle anymore. Nice Baku bro, Kirishima cheered his friend. Yeah dude, your explosion is getting more and more powerful every day. 𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗏 just said that while fueling his ego even more. Of course, you idiot. You're looking at the next #1 hero after all, said 𝗵𝗃𝗀 with his signature smirk. What should we do with him now? Asked Kaminari while kicking his head. Just leave him, that Deku just gonna crawl back to his home eventually, said 𝗵𝗃𝗀 as he just laughed loudly with the rest of his squad following him from behind. As the rain poured down, my body just lay down on the ground while my face just face upwards looking at the rainy sky. I can't take this any longer. How much more should I take this beating? It's never-ending torture. I didn't choose to be this, you know. To be quirkless. To be a 𝗧𝗏. As I strolled, I saw a lovely tea cafe just 2 blocks away and I saw some of Izumi's friends. There's Kyoka-Jiu, Mina Ishido, Ochako Uraraka, Momo Yaoyorozu, Katsumi Bakugo, and Shoka Todoroki. They're sitting in an outdoor venue drinking tea while having a conversation. Did you guys already study for the exam next week? Kyoka asked. No, I haven't. How am I gonna pass the test? Mina said while throwing her arm in the air. Oh, that's okay. We can all have a study group tomorrow together, Momo said as she shows her small smile. Yeah, it's been a long time since we had a group outing together, said Uraraka while acting all bubbly. I was silently listening while laying my back on the wall. They seemed to have a good time, something that I haven't felt in a long time. And when I was just about to leave, I heard a certain topic that stops my foot. Oh Mina, I thought you're gonna join my brother to knock some sense to Deku, asked Katsumi while raising her eyebrow. No, I need to study for the exam and it's starting to get boring. Speaking of Deku, didn't you 3 used to have a crush on him or something? Asked Mina while looking at Katsumi, Shoka, and Momo. I was a little shocked at that revelation. Those 3 used to have a crush on me. I can understand Momo since we used to be childhood friends, but Katsumi and Shoka were unexpected. As I bring my ears closer, I was regretting at that moment. I wish I just left right there and headed to my home and not heard the words that came right through those lips. Huh, as if I ever liked that worthless Deku, Katsumi said while laughing. That's gross, Mina, Shoka said monotone as usual. Stop joking around, Mina, Momo said to her friend. Not bothering to hear the rest of their conversation, I decided to leave and run away from there. I just run as fast as I can while not looking at my surrounding. I just run and keep running and not looking back. But, why? I keep running and after a while, I just stop at some building running and sit on the ground holding my chest while crying my eyes out, trying to control my breath. My breathing stuttered as I just let tears fall off my eyes. Somehow, they think I haven't suffered or broken as the rest of the world has wanted. Can't take the pain anymore, I just screamed at the sky as loudly as I can to get rid of the frustration, the pain, and the anger inside of me. Not caring about the surroundings or the neighbor in the area, I just release everything and throw it to the heavens. Flashback, and those memories are still lingering in the back of my mind these days. Just thinking about it makes my heart hurt a lot, like someone just grabbed my heart and crushed it. And what makes it hurt? 'Cause I really do have a crush on Momo. Ever since I was a kid, I always thought of Momo as one of my best friends, and it may sound cringe, but when I was still just a kid, I can see myself and Momo building a future, just the two of us. Walking to school together while holding hands, asking her to be my girlfriend, having a date in a park, proposing to her while in front of her parents, and her saying yes, and walking down the aisle with her. I guess those things are nothing more than an illusion of fool's fantasy, if you know what I mean. As I see the old matryoshka that Momo gave me 10 years ago, I only did what sensible people would do. I grab the doll and throw it in a trash can. After throwing it, I just silently laugh while looking at the trash can. I guess happiness and love are something that a quirkless people don't deserve. All I ask is just to have a normal life. Is that too much to ask? Tired of all the nonsense that was happening, I just opened the door of my room and dragged both of my legs. I got up and get ready for school. Luckily, this is the last day of school, so I don't have to face those people again for a long time. Mizudafu, Japan, 2140, 𝗲𝗪𝙢𝗢𝗔𝗂𝗍 Junior High RD POV. In a classroom of 𝗲𝗪𝗢 Junior High, we can see Izuku Yagi just sitting on his chair while putting his head down, while the rest of his classmates just ignore him as always, while we see Bakugo just putting his feet on the desk acting like he owns the place. The teacher just came in and stand on the podium while holding a stack of paper. As you already know, you guys are already the third year now. It's time for you all to think about your future. Oh, who am I kidding? You're all gonna be heroes, of course, yelled the teacher while throwing the stack of paper in the air while smiling idiotically. All the students just cheered on while showing off their quirks in the class and celebrated. While Izuku just lays his head on the desk, Bakugo just declares loudly to the rest of the class. "Hey teach, don't lump me with the rest of these extras," said Bakugo while smiling arrogantly. "Oh, by the way, Mr. Yagi, didn't you aim for UA as well?" The teacher smiled mischievously. As soon as the teacher said that, the entire class erupted in laughter at the information. "Deku, I told you not to go to you useless freak," Bakugo yelled loudly while popping his quirk on his hands. "You uselessity, are you still trying to be a hero?" Izumi yelled at her brother. "That's enough, Ms. Yagi, you can continue your activity when the class is over." As soon as the teacher said that, Izumi just gave her brother one last look of disgust before going back to her seat and whisper from her seat, "You're dead, Deku." When the bell rang, Izuku was surrounded by her sister and the rest of her friends, and by the looks on their faces, they weren't happy at all. "You piece of I told you not to apply for you," said Katsumi as she slammed her hand at his table. "What are you doing, Deku? Are you still trying to be a hero?" Izumi shouted as she grabbed his collar and lifted him from the ground. But Izuku just stays quiet without giving her an answer. "Answer me, you quirkless runt," yelled Izumi as she just threw him to the wall. As some of his stuff is scattered around the classroom, Shoto takes a look at a certain book that was thrown at his feet. "Hey guys, take a look at this," Shoto said to them while picking up the book, Hero Quirk Analysis number 13, what a joke. As soon as he take the book and shows it to them, all they did was just laugh at it. What a joke, is he still thinking that he can be a hero or something? Mina snickers as she looks at him. Wake up already. You're quirkless, so you're useless. Go be a reporter or something, so you can write about what a hero we are in the future, said Ida as he watches him in disgust. You know, Katsuki said while smirking at Izuku, but his head is just kept down this entire time. If you want to be a hero, there might be a way. He was hoping for a reaction or something, but Izuku just kept his head down and Katsuki just pushes the dagger deeper into his heart even further. Just take a swan dive off a rooftop and prayed for a quirk in your next life. As soon he says that, the entire group just burst out laughing at Bakuga's advice and they left him alone in the classroom, but not before Katsuki grabbed his notebook and exploded it in the air and threw it outside while smiling maniacally. When they all left the classroom, Izuku's mind is still vacant of what just transpired. What just happened? They just suicide baited him and they just laughed it over. Are these really the next generation heroes? The heroes that bullied people just to prove how superior they are. The heroes are supposed to save people. They won't even bat an eye for civilians in need by how they are acting in the last 10 minutes, and they bragged how they're the next heroes and the next #1 hero. Did All Might just go around and beat people merciless just for his own amusement? No. All Might give people hope and show people that anyone can be a hero, but those people are acting as the opposite of All Might. They act just like the villains that All Might beat every day. They're not heroes, they're villains. As Izuku get up, he just grabbed the rest of his stuff and decided to leave. But when he left the school, he felt something new inside of him. He felt a burning sensation inside of him. Like a new emotion, something that is new to him. It's like he wants to find Izumi and the rest of her gang and beat them up. Pay them back for what they did and give them a taste of his own medicine. Without realizing it, Izuku felt a rage inside him for the first time. Izuku walked home, taking a long way because he didn't want to see her face at all. He felt that if he sees her smirk at home, he could just punch her. He just wants to wipe the smug out of her face. But then again, if he beat her up in the house, she's just gonna cry to her parent and he's gonna get blamed for everything. 'Cause her beach sister is the perfect daughter. Besides, even if arrives home late, it won't even matter to him at all. Since his parents will be too busy nursing Izumi into their perfect hero. When he walks in, he heard something. It was a slouching sound and something that looked like sludge in a manhole cover beneath him. Then he heard a voice, "What a wonderful meat suit." Izuku's eyes widened and he's jumping back and tried to escape from whatever that is trying to grab a hold of him. "Sorry kid, but I need a body to escape from those heroes that after me. And you'll be my perfect getaway ticket." As soon as the sludge villain said that, he started to hyperventilate and was scared for his life. But then he noticed someone that is coming for him. "Never fear, why? Because I am here." When I heard those words, my heart is filled with hope and excitement. It's All Might and he's gonna save me. Detroit's smash. The punch itself is so powerful that it scatters the sludge body all over the neighborhood. He grabbed a soda bottle on the ground and just stuffed the villain inside it. Izuku was shocked. All Might is here and standing in front of him. Here and saves him. 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗏 in front of him. 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗏. I can just passed out because of these. Because of the shock, Izuku just passed out in the middle of the road while flabbergasted because All Might is literally standing in front of him. After 15 minutes, Izuku is starting to wake up after feeling someone slapping both of his cheeks really hard and fast at the same time. "Hello young man, wake up," All Might call and slap Izuku's face till it's red. Izuku blinked out of his trance and stared at the #1 hero with stars in his eyes. "All Might, is it really you?" Izuku stuttered as the hero just brightens and show his signature smile. "Thank you young man for helping me to apprehend this villain," said All Might as he showed him the soda bottle that trapped the villain inside. "No worries All Might, it's just the right thing to do," Izuku said while admiring the #1 hero himself. "Well then, I should hand this villain to the police. Farewell young man," said All Might as he ready to flee the scene. But Izuku wants to ask a question. A question that has stuck in the back of his mind in the last 10 years, ever since he was diagnosed as quirkless. All Might, I want to ask you a question," yelled Izuku, as All Might just looked at the young man confused as to what question does the young man want him to answer. This is the moment that Izuku had been waiting for a long time. The answer to his question. He had been holding on to his dream to be the first quirkless hero ever since he was a young boy. He endures all the pain and torture from his sister and friends. He survived the neglect of his parents. He managed to stand tall after being ridiculed for his near-impossible dream, and now he finally has all the answers that he's been looking for. Can someone without a quirk become a hero? Said Izuku while shaking both of his arms while waiting for the answer from the number one hero himself. The last lifeline of his life. Finally, he can have actual proof that his dream is not imaginary. But the answer that comes from the symbol of peace is not the one that Izuku had expected. No, you can't. Izuku's body had shut down after hearing the number one hero answer. Silent was the only thing that has been heard inside Izuku's mind. Know that one word is more than enough to break all of his confidence that has been barely hanging on in the last 10 years. This can't be real, right? He said it himself that anyone can be a hero. Does that only apply to people with a quirk? People that's been abusing their power for personal gain. People like Izumi and her friends. Being a hero without a quirk in this era is impossible. In this era, you need to have a quirk to be a hero. You need to be strong in order to face the evil that's been terrorizing this city. You should try to become a police officer or a doctor perhaps. All Might said firmly to the young man without looking at Izuku at all. He just talked while turning his back to Izuku. Before All Might decided to leave, he said one more thing. It's okay to have a dream, just make sure to be realistic. As soon as he said that, All Might decided to leave the young man while squatting before taking off. The gust of wind is strong enough to make people fall to their back, but Izuku just standing there with his head just facing down, and he decided to cry. That is it. The answer that he's been looking for, but not the one that he expected to hear from. Now Izuku has all the proof in the world that no matter what, quirkless people can't be a hero. Izuku can't be a hero. A Deku can't be a hero. Eventually, after calming down, he decided to head back home while his mind was still pondering the revelation that just happened in the last hour. His idol All Might is rejecting his dream just like the rest of this society. No one believes in his dream anymore. Maybe I should just take Kaken's advice. He's right all along. If All Might himself said I can't be a hero, then he's right. Izuku was about to arrive at his home when suddenly All Might came down just a few blocks away from Izuku. As he saw All Might be near, Izuku just came and rushed to look for All Might. Maybe he decided to take back his word, right? Maybe he realized that I can be a hero too. When he heard All Might voices, he wanted to come rushing to him when suddenly his foot stopped when he heard Izumi and her friends' voices near All Might. Curious as to why All Might wants to see her sister, Izuku just decided to stay quiet and listen to the conversation. Young Izumi, I had come with an offer for you. All Might declared loudly to Izumi as she just stood there with stars in her eyes because his idol was standing in front of him. Wow, it's All Might, that's a manly landing, said Kirishima while giving him a tawdy smile. All Might, it's really you, but wait, how do you know my name and what offer are you talking about? Izumi asked while she still admired the number one that was standing in front of him. The answer for that is simple actually. All Might said as he just suddenly poof. He turned into a cloud of smoke and all of them are waiting for the smoke to clear, including Izuku that stands behind them. They all watched as the smoke started to clear and they no longer saw All Might standing in front of them but a small man with a skeleton figure and blonde hair, and his face is familiar to all of them. That's because the man standing in front of them is Izumi and Izuku's father, Toshinori Yagi. Dad/Mr. Yagi, said all of them while shouting. Izuku was shocked and his mouth was wide agape. His father, the one who is living under the same roof as him, is the number one hero, the symbol of peace himself. The same person that just crushed his dream an hour ago, and the man that neglected him is the same person all this time. Silent tears shot out from Izuku's eyes as he watched what was going on in silence. Yes, it's me, Izumi. And right now, I have an offer for you. Izumi, I would like for you to be my successor. All Might said. Izuku was shaking as he just heard his father's words. Every word that he spoke is like a punch to the gut, but it's nothing compared to what All Might's next line is. I have deemed you worthy to inherit my quirk. When All Might said those words, everything stopped just for a moment. Izuku's body has shut down at this revelation. What is he talking about? A quirk can't be passed down. This has to be some sick joke, right? There's no way that his father had a quirk that can be passed down, and even if he did, why did his father choose Izumi instead of Izuku? Izumi was confused, but then his father is starting to explain the story of One for All and his history with the villain known as All for One, his secret identity as All Might, and his partner Viridian Storm is also known as Inko Yagi, and how Izumi parents are the number 1 and number 16 hero. Then Toshinori starts to explain that One for All is a stockpiling quirk that can be passed down from one generation to the next, and its purpose is to defeat the villain known as All for One that has the ability to steal quirk from others, and the purposes of One for All is to defeat All for One, and this mission has been going on for almost 200 years, and making Izumi is the 9th generation of One for All user. After hearing the story, Izumi and the rest of her friends were too shocked to even make a comment. A quirk that can be passed down from one person to another, and its purpose is to defeat the ultimate villain that has been living for 200 years. It's like a fairy tale story where someone is being chosen as the chosen one or something. So what do you say, Izumi? Have you decided to take this offer and the responsibility to continue this noble mission that my 𝗵𝘃𝗧𝗏 has entrusted to me? Said Toshinori while looking at his daughter. Wait, what about Izuku? Why didn't you choose him instead? Izuku asked her father. To be honest, the thought crossed my mind, but I'm starting to think that he doesn't have the drive and the determination to wield this quirk. He doesn't train at all and just sleeps in his room the entire time. And I think that he doesn't have the heart to be a hero. Toshinori said. Izuku was downright pissed at the words that came out of his father's mouth. He's taken a step back and just left the scene without wanting to hear whatever bullshit that comes out of his father's mouth. How dare he thinks that I didn't have what it takes to be a hero? How is he able to think that I just staying in my room for the last 10 years, when I'm busy tending my wound that my sister and her friends gave me? Who is he to say that I don't have the heart or the drive to be a hero? It's always Izumi's needs and wants, right? As long as she's the pride and glory of their family, nothing matters, right? Not even her quirkless brother. And how is Izumi even a hero material? She's the definition of a villain in Izuku's mind. Can't handle the stress and anger, Izuku just went to a random back alley in Mizudafu and decided to do one thing that he had never done in his entire life. He lashed out trash can, old cardboard box, empty bottle, a wooden pile. Anything that is laying on the ground is his tool to release all the frustration and anger that's been bottling up inside of him in the last 10 years. Loud thumping noises and broken glasses filled the back alley as Izuku kept trashing the places. His instinct has taken over his body as he just keeps punching and kicking everything. And after what it seems to be forever, Izuku just yelled out to the sky while cursing, "You cruel, manipulative bee. Was this all part of your plan? It's all just a game to you, isn't it? Well, I know punishment, and I did not deserve that. I followed your stupid rules and it still wasn't good enough. So what does it take to please you? Break your rules and you fall. Follow them and you still lose. Doesn't matter whether you're a sinner. Doesn't matter whether you're a saint. Nobody can win, so what's the point? What's the bloody point?" After he was done shouting, Izuku just looked at the dark sky on top of him while reflecting on his entire life. Being the black sheep of the family. A punching bag for his sister and her friends. The joker of his neighborhood. A waste of space in this society. They all treat him as if he wasn't human. Tired of taking everyone's CRP, Izuku decided that he had enough. He wants to get them back. He wants them to suffer. He wants to hear their scream and cry for help. He wants to make them pay for what they did. While he was still deep in his thought, a familiar voice rang through his eardrum. Well, if it isn't the useless 𝗧𝗏𝗃 himself. What are you mopping around, you demon Deku? Deku, that words infuriated Izuku like hell. It burns him on the inside like an inferno. That is not his name and they knew it. Izuku turned around only to meet with the Bakugo and Todoroki twins, and the rest of those 𝗬𝗧𝗏𝗧 without Izumi in their little group. Guess Izumi is busy celebrating being the next number 1 hero with those failures of a parent, Izuku thought. Hey nerd, I'm talking to you. You useless 𝗧𝗏𝗃, you can't even respond or say anything. No wonder you'll never be a hero. Bakugo taunts him, but Izuku just stayed quiet and didn't bite at his taunt. Hero Izuku wasn't sure he wants to be a hero anymore. If the definition of a hero is to bully people to satisfy their ego and to make themselves feel better, then no. He doesn't want to be a hero anymore. Right now, all he wanted was revenge. Revenge to his parents, revenge to Izumi, revenge to Bakugo and Todoroki twins, revenge to these 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗟𝗔, revenge to the rest of his school, revenge to this quirkless society. He wants them to suffer. Tired of being ignored, Katsuki decided to approach him and give him a wake-up call. "Hey nerd, I'm talking to you," said Katsuki while cracking his knuckle. Izuku said nothing as he couldn't contain his rage at hearing the sound of Katsuki. "Are you gone deaf? I asked you a question," said Katsuki as he kept taunt Izuku more and more, and some of his friends snickered with what Katsuki just said. Once again Izuku didn't respond. "Don't you dare ignore me, Deku. You hear me, 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏." As his fist is ready to meet with Izuku's face, something unexpected is happening. Katsuki's fist was stopped as someone is holding his fist. He can feel that his knuckle was being squished and he tries to pull back his punches, but the grab was too strong for him to pull back. As he keeps trying to pull back his punch, he takes a look at the mysterious person that dares to stop him from putting Deku in his rightful place. When he decided to look, Katsuki's eyes were shocked. 'Cause the one who stops him is Deku himself. Izuku decided to slowly stand up while squishing his fist even tighter with all of his strength as he declared loudly for the first time in his life, "My name is Izuku." As he screamed loudly, he pushed back Katsuki's fist back and looked him in the eye. His eyes weren't filled with terror and fear but anger and fury. He looked at his bully and the rest of them with only one thought crossing his mind. "I'll kill you all." For the first time in 10 years, he decided to fight back against his bully. He clenched both his hands to make a fist and rushes to all of them while screaming loudly. What they all don't know is that fateful day has been marked down for the dawn of two forces that will clash in the near future. The 𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 of the next symbol of peace and the future king of hell, Izumi POV. I woke up this morning with an awesome feeling in my body. It's almost like I can take on a world or something. Ever since my father revealed that he's a hero and the #1 hero himself, and my mom the #16 hero, I felt a tremendous pride flowing through my body. I'm the daughter of a symbol of peace and the top 20 heroes in Japan. Any person would be proud to have their parent as a hero, especially All Might and Viridian Storm themselves. Not to mention that my dad has chosen me to be the next successor of his quirk. Just the thought of it gives me goosebumps. It's giving me the feeling that I was born for this moment. Like I was the chosen one. I got up from my bed and decided to get ready for school. Yesterday may be the last day of school, but that doesn't mean that I can still slack off. I still need to prepare for my entry test to UA, and not to mention my dad decided to put a training regimen for wielding his quirk. After I was done taking a shower and wearing my school uniform, I'm coming downstairs to meet with my parents in the dining room. My dad is reading a newspaper while my mom is still preparing our breakfast. When I entered, my dad greeted me as always. "Hello Izumi, are you ready for your training to be the next holder of One for All?" said my father while giving a smile. "Of course, Dad, I can't wait for the training. I still can't believe that I'm gonna be the next symbol of I'm so excited," I said while trying to contain myself. Now Izumi, I know that having your parent as the #1 in 16 heroes is so excited and it's the dream for every child. But remember, you mustn't tell this to anyone when you entered you, alright? Said Inko while handing her breakfast at the table. "Of course, Mom," I said. "Alright then, let's eat. You have a big day today, and don't forget that tomorrow is your birthday," said my father. That's right, tomorrow is my birthday, and for it to happen the next day after my father announces to me and my friends that he's All Might. It's like my day just keeps getting better and better every day. However, I feel like there's something missing right now. Like something that was supposed to be here right now, but it's not. I just pushed that thought to the back of my mind and got ready for school. I grabbed my backpack and decided to just walk toward my school. After I arrive, I met with the rest of my friends in the class. As always, Katsuki greeted me while blushing a little. I always knew that he had a crush on me, but I haven't been able to respond to his feeling yet right now. There's Katsumi and Shoka greet me cheerfully as always. Momo and Shoto were there and greet me politely as usual. It seems that Shoto decided to go after Momo all along. And there's Mina, Ochako, Ida, Tsuyu, Kirishima, Kaminari, Jairu, and the rest of my friends. But I still feel that something is still missing, but I don't know what it is. Homeroom has finally started and the teacher just does his usual roll calling, And he starts calling all of our names and all of us were present except one. Izuku Yagi, said the teacher. Izuku Yagi, asked the teacher again. Guess he's absent, said the teacher. Yeah, that's right. Where is Izuku? He's not here in the class. Did he oversleep or something? Come to think of it, did I even see him today at home? He's been coming home lately and still writing down that stupid notebook of his. It's a good thing that Kaken decided to blow up his notebook so he would stop writing that notebook. I mean doing analysis on hero and villain to be a hero. What a joke. You'll also like that //villain Deku by Musical Leaf Juice 15 that //villain Deku 3M1K that day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could Izuku Yagi. Hades Ring by Rix 999 Izuku Yagi. Hades Ring K9K 4 months have passed since the war between Japan and Outcast of Hell. Izuku Yagi is being locked in an unknown facility facing his punishment for his wrongdoing. The New Life with No Memories by 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 New Life with No Memories 4K9K Izuku Yagi, son of Inko Yagi and Toshinori Yagi. Izuku was always a happy child full of energy and enthusiasm, that was until he was diagnosed quirkless. Luckily his 𝗬𝗏 Bad Life by 𝗬𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗏 Bad Life 3K that day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could match 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗧𝗏 by passing ghost friend 𝗧𝗏𝗃𝗧𝗏 K5K. Izuku quit dreaming of becoming a pro hero after 3 times of being denied. He decided to screw it and just be normal. He has part-time jobs. He recently graduated. Don't Let Go by Warrior Dragon 215 Don't Let Go 3K2K. Izuku always wondered where he went wrong in his life. He wondered what he did wrong to deserve everything he got. After in turn messed up telling his parents he didn't, but again, why is he still persistent on to be a hero? Can't he just realize that it's impossible to be a hero without a quirk? Even Dad said it himself that it's impossible. Why did he never listen to what we said to him? We were only doing this for his sake. We're trying to help him. I'm sure once he understands what we've been trying to tell him all this time, he'll thank us. I'm sure of it. Once the school bell rang, all of us decided to hang out on the rooftop to have lunch together. When we all gathered there, I decided to discuss the elephant in the room. Hey guys, did you all know where my brother is? I asked all of them. Don't ask us. I mean you're the one that lives in the same house with that Deku, Mina said to me while shrugging his shoulders. Yeah, I mean maybe he's late or skipping school, said Katsumi while looking at me. No way. That Deku never once came late to school and now all of a sudden he decided to skip school. He's too much of a coward to do it, said Katsuki while eating his lunch. I don't know, I mean I didn't see him while we're all having breakfast and I'm pretty sure his room is empty, so where is he anyway? I asked while pondering my mind. The rest of them kept thinking about where Izuku was when Shoto decided to speak his mind. Maybe he's still there, Shoto said quietly. I'm a little confused. Did Shoto know where my brother is? What do you mean, Shoto? Well, it happens when you go back with your dad after the whole reveal of his identity. Shoto said to me in monotone. Flashbacks start. I still can't believe it that Mr. Yagi is actually All Might, Shoto said to Katsuki. I know icy hot, and he offers her a quirk as well. Minute. Now Izumi keeps getting stronger and stronger every day, said Katsuki while cursing. What? Jealous that your crush is getting more and more powerful than you, bro? Katsumi asked while smirking at her brother. Shut it, Katsuki shouts. Well, I still can't believe that Mr. Yagi is actually All Might. How did I not see this coming before? Ida asked while chopping his hand. To be honest, none of us do know, not even Izumi. I mean you saw it yourself how shocked she is. Uraraka replied at Ida. And even he said it himself, that we can't tell anyone about his secret identity no matter what. Tokoyami tell to all of them. Of course not. How stupid do you think we are anyways? Mina replied while pouting a little bit. Stupid as Kaminari maybe. Jiro replied while smiling a little. Hey! Kaminari whined. As they kept walking and shared a few laughs, Jiro's ears caught a grunting noise and a smacking voice with her quirk. Hey guys, hold on, Jiro tells all of them while stopping her step. What's going on, 𝗔𝗀𝗧𝗏? Momo replied. I heard someone yelling, 𝗔𝗀𝗧 tell them. What, like screaming and shouting? Kirishima asked her. No, more like yelling in an angry and hitting sound, said 𝗔𝗀𝗧 after hearing it carefully. It's coming from that alley, while pointing to the alley beside them. Well, let's check it out. Maybe someone is in trouble, 𝗧𝗏 said. Yeah, maybe someone was caught in a robbery or something, Kirishima replied to 𝗧𝗏. While we decided to keep walking to the alley, the noise is getting louder and louder as we just walk in. And at the end of the alley, we saw Izuku thrashing the places like some kind of madman. He just screams and kicks the trash until it starts to bend. His knuckle starts to bleed and he just keeps doing it. Tired of hearing his voice, Katsuki decided to call him out. Well, if it isn't the useless 𝗧𝗏𝗃 himself. What are you moping around, you demon Deku? But Izuku didn't respond at all. Instead, he just kept trashing the places. Hey nerd, I'm talking to you. You useless 𝗧𝗏𝗃, you can't even respond or say anything. No wonder you'll never be a hero. But Kugu taunts him. Maybe he's trying to show how tough he is, Kaminari snickered. But Izuku keeps ignoring all of them and just punching the trash can. It looks like the trash can is starting to bend thanks to Izuku punches, and some of them are looking a little impressed and confused. How can Deku punch be strong enough to break the trash can? It's made of metal and he just repeatedly punches it. Hey nerd, I'm talking to you, said Katsuki while taunting him even more. However, Izuku just stopped suddenly and looked at the ground while his hair was shadowing his eyes. He just silently stepped aside and ignored Katsuki even more, which infatuated him even more. Deciding that he had enough, Katsuki clenched his fist and decided to punch the 𝗧𝗏𝗃 out of him for ignoring him. But when his fist nearly close to his face, Izuku catches the fist with his right hand. All of us were shocked. Izuku decided to stand up for himself and stopped Katsuki's fist. He throws the fist back and looks all of us in the eye. We were a little bit scared because this is the first time Izuku looked at us with such hatred. I mean, what did we do for him to look at us with such hatred? Suddenly he decided to yell out and come after us while running toward Katsuki with such anger. And he punches Katsuki square in the jaw. Katsuki was shocked. How dare this Deku decided to fight back and beat him? It should be the other way around. We should be the ones to beat him and he should squirm in pain like always. He's nothing but a worm that I stepped on. He just keeps lashing out and making a run toward us. Kirishima decides to head forward only to meet with Izuku's fist on his stomach. We can see Kirishima spit saliva as Izuku's fist is able to make him vomit a little. Then he decided to go after Kaminari, then 𝗧𝗏, Sato, Iida, and Ojiro. Decided that I had enough. I send a spike of ice towards Izuku and he stumbles a little bit. Then I trapped him in the nearby wall while trapping both of his arms and legs against the wall. Demon that Deku, who does he think he is? Deciding to fight back against us, said Kaminari while spewing a little BLD. Huh? You got your butt beat down by that loser, Mineta taunts him. Shut up, dude, Kaminari replied harshly. He just caught you off guard, that's all. Can't believe that after all this time he decided to fight back. Think he's some sort of hero or something. Iida said while chopping both of his hands. Besides, I think someone needs a little punishment on how to act towards the next generation of heroes, you know, said Bakugo while looking at Izuku that is trapped on the wall while smiling maniacally. Izuku is still trying to get out while struggling because of the ices that trapped his entire body. 𝗧𝗏 decided to use his tape and close his mouth so that nobody could hear his scream, while the rest of them were getting ready to show him what happens when you decide to mess with them. Flashback end. After hearing what Shoto said, I was a little shocked. I mean, my brother decided to fight back at us. It's almost unbelievable. At first, I was thinking that maybe they all decided to pull a prank on me, but by the look on their faces, I can tell that they are all telling the truth. Izuku fought back. I can't believe that he actually punched me in the face. Katsuki keeps grunting while rubbing his face. I don't know what's worse, the fact that Deku managed to punch you in the face or his punch is actually hurting you, Kaminari asked in the snarky remark. Shut up, dunce face. Katsuki declared loudly. Still, I wonder what's gotten into him, to suddenly lashed out at us. It's like he hates us or something. Uraraka asked herself while looking at Iida and 𝗬𝗏. Maybe he's having problems at home, Ida said while rubbing his chin. But if he did, surely he would tell us, right? I mean, we're all friends after all, Tsuyu said her opinion. I don't know, I mean, he's been acting strangely in the last couple of days. He doesn't pay attention during classes, he's always spaced out, and he's always late to class. Honestly, I'm disappointed in him, Ida said while chopping both of his hands. Still, I'm kind of feeling a little bad over what we did yesterday, Shoka said monotonously as usual. Nah, we just rough him up a little bit. Besides, he survived a lot worse than before and he is still crawling back like always. That quirkless freak, still thinking that he can be a hero or something. Katsuki declared loudly. Yeah, the nerd is fine, so stop worrying, Katsumi said while supporting her brother. As they all just keep talking, Izumi is still pondering on what just happened to her brother. His weak and pathetic brother is finally fighting back. Sure, he may get his butt kicked, but still, this is kinda an accomplishment to her. Maybe there's hope for her brother to be a hero. But then again, why did we bully him in the first place? I can't even remember why we even do it. Guys, why did we bully Deku in the first place? I said quietly but loud enough for all of them to hear. When I asked that question, the only response I heard was nothing but silence. All the chatting and noise around me were put on a hold. They stopped what they were doing and looked like deer in the headlight. Even the Bakugo twins were looking a little perplexed. They seemed to forget why they did it. And after what seems like forever, Momo decides to answer it in a shaking tone. It's because we want to protect him. We decided to bully him for just being a hero. We thought that if he stops being a hero, he will be safe from danger, and instead, we're the one that put him in danger in the first place, I said while trying to reflect on myself. What have we done? Katsumi said while getting up from her where she's sitting and walking away from the group. A shitty job, that's for sure, Kaminari said to the female Pomeranian dog. After that, everyone just silently reflects on what they have done to their friend and brother in the last 10 years. Sure, the rest of the class and the school may have participated in the bullying, but they're the ones that started it in the first place. We're the ones that tell the kids in our school to bully him, and the teachers didn't stop us. Instead, they just encouraged us. The name-calling, the detention, the punishment after school, the grade failing, everything started with me and my friends. And I'm her sister, for God's sake. I'm supposed to protect my brother. I'm supposed to support him instead of bringing him down. I can't even think of the last time we hung out together, just the two of us as siblings, or even together with the rest of his friends. But then again, he doesn't have friends thanks to a shitty sister such as myself. I decided that enough is enough. From now on we all have to make up to him. The first thing we all need to do is to apologize to him no matter what. Then we'll stop with all the bullying and the name-calling. I think we need to stop, we've gone too far with the bullying. If we keep continuing like this, then we're no better than the villain themselves. And not to mention what happened yesterday is too far. I told them while still thinking about the suicide baiting that happens yesterday. It still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah, now that I think about it, maybe what happened yesterday is way too far. I mean, telling someone to kill themselves is not manly at all. Kirishima said while rubbing the back of his head. Okay, so from now on, we have to stop bullying him. We're gonna find him, then we're gonna apologize to him for everything that's happening all this time. And we stop with everything, the bullying, the mean call, the name, everything. Do we all agree? I said to all of them. Alright, but do you think that he will forgive us? And what about his dream? He still wants to be a hero, you know, said Uraraka while looking down. He has every right to be mad, but whether he decided to forgive us or not is entirely up to his decision. And if he still wants to be a hero, then we'll support his decision no matter what. But if he doesn't want to be a hero, maybe we can talk to him about becoming a support hero or perhaps entering a business course. Shoto said with his monotone voice but with a hint of guilt. Alright, let's go find the nerd and apologize, Katsuki said while grunting. Do you even know where he is anyway? I asked Katsuki. Katsuki looked at me with guilt written all over his face, but he decided to bite the bullet and get it done immediately. He's probably still trapped in the alley where we beat him up yesterday. If what you said is true, that he wasn't at home this morning and he didn't come to school today, then there are the only places I can think of. When he was done explaining to me, I kind of felt terrible about what happened to my brother. I didn't have any sort of sympathy for him before, but now, just hearing the news that my brother got beat up is kinda making me feel guilty. I want to be angry at all of them for beating up my brother, but I feel like I didn't have any right to do that because I also did the same thing before. That just makes me a hypocrite. So we decided to go to the alley that Katsuki mentioned to me. It was kinda dark and not in a good neighborhood. Shoto and Katsuki decide to take a lead while the rest of us follow from behind. When we all walk to the alley, I can see some of them are feeling kinda guilty, like Katsumi, Shoka, Momo, Uraraka, Ida, Tsuyu, Siro, and Koda, while the rest of them are feeling anxious because they might accidentally hurt him way too much than before, or they are worried that my brother won't forgive them at all. I've already decided that the first thing that I would do is to apologize and give him the biggest hug ever, and then I would do everything to make up for it. I'll talk to Dad and convince him to give one for all to Izuku because he deserves the chance to be a hero. And after 5 minutes of walking in the alley, Katsuki and Shoto stop their track and both of them just look at the rest of us standing behind them. "We're here," said Katsuki. And when I turned to the right, I saw my brother's condition and it brought me to tears. His body is filled with scars from the explosion and burn marks that I assume to come from Bakugo and Todoroki twins. Both of his arms are filled with burn marks and some of his clothes are burned as well. His abdomen is filled with bruised from frostbite, burn marks, blow marks, acid burns, stab wounds, and many more. His face is filled with scars and his lips are torn. The clothes itself is filled with holes and dirty with dust and dirt. But the disturbing part is not the bruises themselves, but the way how her brother is tortured. His arms were stretched on the wall as there was ice that trap his wrist so he can't get out or struggle. His arms were stretched on the wall as there was ice that trap his wrist so he can't get out or struggle. There's an ice spike that pierced both of his hands and there's dry blood on his hands. His face is filled with scars and there's dry blood on his lips. It's almost as if he's being crucified. My legs felt weak at the sight of my brother. I looked at my friends with an angered expression and they all just decided to look away and couldn't look me in the eye. How could I let this happen? How can I take a part in my brother's suffering and just laugh at his dream? I wouldn't want anyone to do that to me, and yet I let it happen in my own flesh and blood. I want to yell and scream and scolded my friends for putting my brother in this condition, but that would make me a hypocrite. I just laugh at his suffering for the last 10 years and giving him a hard time, and that's not how siblings are supposed to act. I'm supposed to protect him, support his dream, and stand at his side, not against him. I'm walking slowly towards him, hoping to mend the broken relationship that we had, while trying to call him out. "Oni-chan." The moment I said those words, it makes me realize that I haven't called him that ever since we were little. It feels strange for some reason to call my brother other than the name that we give to him. "Oni-chan, it's me, your sister." Sister? When I mention the word, it almost feels like I'm swallowing a rock down to my throat. I haven't been his sister for a long time and I know it. We want to apologize Izuku for everything. The bullying, the name-calling, the pranks, the bad rumors, everything. I just want to say I'm sorry for everything. When I apologize to him, I just bow my head and tell him how sorry I am. That I will stop bullying him and I would do everything in my power to support his dream, to be a better sister and a sibling. But no matter what I say, my brother just stays silent the entire time. He's not responding to anything we said. He just stays there in silence like some lifeless doll. Some of my friends are starting to notice this as well, so they decided to call him as well. "Zuzu," said Momo while clutching her chest. "Zuzu." That's what Momo used to call my brother when we were little. My memories are starting to remember when Izuku and Momo were playing in a park when we were still kids. I haven't heard that nickname for a long time and it seems that Momo is feeling strange as well just mentioning that word herself. But Izuku is still ignoring her. "Izuku-kun, it's us, your friend," said Shoko with her monotone voice as usual but with a little guilt in her voice. Again he just stays quiet the whole time. "Oi nerd, we're talking to you all right," said Baku. Again, no response. Decided that Katsuki had enough of the silent treatment, he decided to approach my brother to talk to him. "Oi, we're talking to you, okay, the least you can do is 𝗧𝗵𝗲's voice was slowly getting quiet and quieter as he just stared down at my brother with a shocking expression and regret. What's going on? Why is 𝗧𝗵𝗲 looking like a scared little kid? I approached 𝗧𝗵𝗲 and decided to check him out on what was going on. 𝗧𝗵𝗲, what's gotten into you? Are you okay? I asked while holding his collar to shake him. But he didn't respond to my voice. I was confused, so I decided to turn around, and my eyes were bulging at what he has just seen. Without a second thought, I yelled out to 𝗧𝗪𝗧. 𝗧𝗪𝗧, melt the ice. Now. Scared by how I suddenly yelled out to him, he immediately melted the ices that trapped my brother. With the ice melting in a second, my brother just falls down from the wall as I try to catch him. His head is falling off on my right shoulder as his body is starting to get cold as a block of ice. Oni-chan, I yelled to him as I hug him as tightly as I can while crying my eyes. Izumi, what's going on? Katsumi approached me while asking me questions, but I just straight ignored her as I keep crying and hugging my brother. Momo, who seems to be able to connect the dots very quickly, approaches me and looks at my brother while muttering, "No, no, 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 please, 𝗬𝗧, please." But when she looked at him, all hope was lost on her face as she was starting to get teary eyes as well while holding my brother. "𝗬𝗧, please wake up," she yelled throughout her lungs while crying and holding his clothes. One by one they all start to realize what's happening. Katsumi and Shoko were shocked as tears is slipping from their eyes while their knee is touching the ground. Shoto's face is filled with guilt while looking at his hand while shaking. Ida, Achiko, and Tsuyu were stunned as they didn't believe what was going on right now. The rest of their entire face is filled with teary eyes, frightened and horror-struck faces. But the most disturbing one is 𝗧𝗵𝗲, as he is shaking with what has transpired in front of him while looking at Izumi and her brother. His eyes are filled with fear for the first time. He keeps muttering around while looking at both of his hands. No, no, this can't be happening, he's just joking around, alright. It's not my fault, alright. Wake up, why you nerd, wake up. I'm still hugging him out while keeping calling out his name, hoping that he will give me a reply or respond to my call or something. I wish that all of this was just a dream, that I would be awake right now. But to my avail, he still stays silent as he didn't answer my voice. Please, 𝗳𝗲𝗵𝗃 promise T that I'll be good, I'll be the bestest sister ever. I'll stop be bullying you from now on. So please open you eyes Oni-chan. Wake up, Izuku. I cried as I clutched my brother's clothes while hugging him, but he doesn't hug me back. Izuku Yagi is dead from blunt force trauma and excessive blood loss. Izumi POV. After I cried to my brother's lifeless body yesterday, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 and Shoto decided that we should hide Izuku's body somewhere safe so people wouldn't find out about what happened. I wanted to confess to my parents what we did to Izuku, but 𝗧𝗵𝗲 said that if we did confess what happened, then we can say goodbye to our dream to be a hero. As much as I hate to admit it, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 did have a valid point. If people were to find out that the daughter of the symbol of peace killed her brother, then there's no way any hero school was ever gonna let them in, not even UA. So we decided to take Izuku's body to a forest and buried his body there in a hurry. We marked the grave with an insignia in case we ever need to visit him in the future. And when we're done burying my brother, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 tells the rest of us that we cannot let anyone find out about what happened here. If people asked, then we just tell them we don't know what happened. I can tell that some of them are not satisfied with 𝗧𝗵𝗲's plan, but they still decided to go along with it, because they don't want to jeopardize their hero career. I just walked in silence after hearing 𝗧𝗵𝗲's plan and headed to my home. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 wants to call me out, but I can tell that he decided to hold his tongue and just let me process my mind. When I walk down to my neighborhood, they greet me as usual while giving me praise and wishing me good luck for my UA entry exam. However, I didn't give them any reply and just walk in silence while looking at the ground. I open the front and just head upstairs to my room. Without even turning on the light, my body just falls to my bed while I just sobbing uncontrollably. I want to say how sorry I am, that I would want to rebuild the broken bonds that we had before. I want us to go back to where we still being a sibling, where we still have fun together, just the two of us. But it was too late as he was already dead. I woke up from my bed with a heavy feeling inside of me. My eyes are already dry from crying too much. I just cried to my sleep while still trying to get the image of my brother out of my head. I felt miserable right now, the house feeling empty without the presence of my brother. But then again, I had no right to say that as I had never paid attention to him in the last years. I didn't even have any good memories with my brother, as I tried to remember every vacation, every outing, every movie night, or even a simple dinner time. There's no Izuku anywhere in those memories. Just me and my parents, while he's nowhere to be found in those photos. The fact that my parents neglected my brother just because of a simple quirk test is driving me to the boiling point. How could a parent just leave their child in the dark? No child should ever feel that, let alone her brother. And yet here we are. My mom came upstairs knocking on my door telling me that breakfast is ready. But I simply say that I'm not hungry. If I decided to eat right now, I feel like I was gonna vomit the moment food enters my mouth. I just weep in silence while hoping that all of this is just a dream, a nightmare. That I would wake up in my room and I got up and headed downstairs and I saw my parents, but this time Izuku is there. He greets me with his signature smile and asks me about my day. But that's never gonna happen. 'Cause he's gone. Inko POV I just finished cooking breakfast and right now I'm preparing it for Izumi's big day. Today is Izumi's birthday and also the day that Toshinori is gonna give one for all to Izumi. I've made sure to invite all of Izumi's friends and family, the Bakugo and Todoroki family, Aizawa, Nizu, the entire UA staff, Recovery Girl, Gran Torino, Naomasa Tsukachi, and Sir Night-Eye. I've prepared a big feast for tonight's party and the house is gonna be packed with guests for Izumi's big day. Everything has to be perfect. You'll also like that day //villain Deku by Musical Leaf Juice 15 that day //villain Deku 3M1K that day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could Izuku Yagi. Hades Ring by Rix 999 Izuku Yagi. Hades Ring K9K 4 months have passed since the war between Japan and Outcast of Hell. Izuku Yagi is being locked in an unknown facility facing his punishment for his wrongdoing. The New Life with No Memories by 𝗧𝗵𝗃 New Life with No Memories 4K9K Izuku Yagi, son of Inko Yagi and Toshinori Yagi. Izuku was always a happy child full of energy and enthusiasm, that was until he was diagnosed quirkless. Luckily his Yun One Bad Life by 𝗬𝗵𝗃 One Bad Life 3K that day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could match 𝗧𝗪𝗎𝗪𝗏 by passing ghost friend 𝗧𝗪𝗎𝗪𝗏 K5K. Izuku quit dreaming of becoming a pro hero after 3 times of being denied. He decided to screw it and just be normal. He has part-time jobs. He recently graduated. Don't Let Go by Warrior Dragon 215 Don't Let Go 3K2K. Izuku always wondered where he went wrong in his life. He wondered what he did wrong to deserve everything he got. After I in turn messed up telling his parents, he didn't. I'm headed to Izumi's room with breakfast in bed and a smile plastered on my face. There's a variety of meals on the tray. 2 sunny-side-up eggs, grilled sausage and bacon, baked beans, and French toast. It looks good and smells good. As I bring the tray to Izumi's door, I knocked on the door while telling her that breakfast is ready. But Izumi's just replied that she's not hungry. I was a little confused, and by the sound of her tone, she sounds upset. Did Izumi maybe have a fight with one of their friends or something? Maybe she got scolded in school for getting a bad grade. I went to knock on the door again, but all I hear was silence and no reply. So I simply put the tray on the door and tell her where I put it and just went back downstairs to continue cooking for tonight's party. I'm sure nothing is happening, and when tonight's party starts, Izumi's gonna brim with joy. RDPOV. The evening is near close. Izumi is still laying on my bed and hasn't moved or gotten up except just to take the tray that my mom left the food from breakfast and eat it. She can tell that from the sounds downstairs, that everyone is already there and having a chat with each other. All she wants is just this day to be over, so she just took off all my clothes and take a shower. After she was done, she grabbed the dress from the cabinet and just wore it. Izumi take one last look at myself in the mirror and just left the room to head downstairs to meet the guest. She could see his dad talking to Uncle Enji and Uncle Masaru while drinking a glass of wine. There's Aunt Namuri along with Aunt Mitsuki and Aunt Ray just chatting near the dining table. Uncle Shota and Grandpa are having a lovely chat with Principal Nizu, and some of them just chat with each other. Izumi comes downstairs and they start to congratulate me on turning 15. The praise and admiration, all of that are just passing by like nothing while she's putting on a mask of a happy child that everything is perfectly fine. On the corner, we could see some of her friends and they all look very gloomy and don't want to be there at all. It looks like they came for a funeral instead of a party. In the kitchen, Inko is bringing a big vanilla cake with strawberry icing and sliced strawberry on top. The cake itself was decorated with the word written on it, "Happy Birthday Izumi." Her heart is hurting at the word written on it. It just says Izumi, not Izumi and Izuku. It's his birthday too and no one seems to care either, not her parents at least. After 10 minutes everyone is sitting at the dining table. There's a lot of food sitting on a table. From sushi to unagi to tempura to yakitori to sashimi. There's pizza and pasta that my mom cooked for us. Fresh salad, turkey, seafood platter, chicken teriyaki, lasagna, and all sort of side dishes. Any sort of food that you can dream of, it's on the table. As all of them look at the food in front of them, Aunt Nomiuri is starting to compliment Inko. "It looks delicious, Inko," said Nomiuri. "Thank you, Nomiuri, I went all out for Izumi," Inko said while bringing more food from the kitchen. "I can tell that Izumi is one lucky kid," said Mitsuki while looking at Izumi with a warm smile. "All right, let's eat everyone," said Toshinori while grabbing plates. But a certain black-haired man decides to ask him a question. "Hold on, Toshinori, I almost didn't notice, where's Izuku?" "I didn't see him this evening at all," said Aizawa. When Aizawa said that, a certain old man in the room is raising an eyebrow at what the underground pro hero just said while looking confused. "Izuku? I think he's still in bed," said Inko while thinking about her son. "Well, can you wake him up? We can't start having dinner without him, you know," Uncle Enji said while looking at her. Inko is starting to get up from her chair and decided to call him out to his room. Izumi was sweating bullets and feeling anxious. As she looked at Katsuki and he was avoiding her gaze while internally freaking out. After waiting, she come down with a frantic look on her face while looking at her husband and whisper a question. "Toshi, do you know where's Izuku room is?" This question is raising an alarm in everyone that hears it. And that's Izumi, Toshinori, and a certain flame hero. Let's just say that he didn't take the news quite well. "What do you mean you don't where your son room is?" The flame hero yelled at my parent while getting up from his chair and accidentally activating his quirk a little. "Inko, it's the second door to the left next to Izumi's room. Don't you remember?" Toshinori answered his wife while she was still looking frantic. "No, it's not. I opened the door and the room is filled with Izumi training equipment," said her while panicking a bit. "Did you check the guest room?" the older Yagi asked while trying to figure out where Izuku's room is. "No, I checked it as well. There's no one there," said her. Everyone is freaking out with this revelation. Izuku's room is suddenly missing and not even their parents can provide an answer. They have more questions than answers right now. They began to think that maybe Izuku is late coming home or maybe he was in someone's house and staying up late. As they all came with many speculations, Izumi decided to be brave and answer the question that everyone wants to know. "I know where his room is." Suddenly everyone has stopped talking and averted their gaze to Izumi, hoping that she could end this mystery game that everyone is playing. "Well, where is it then, Izumi?" said Inko while pleading to tell them. But instead, Izumi got up from my table and wanted to show them instead. As she walked straight down the stairs to go upstairs to my room, then suddenly stopped. "Izumi, why are we stopping?" said Uncle Enji while squinting his eyes and looking at me. She wants to avoid looking at him but failed miserably as he has experienced how to talk to villains in the street since he's a hero. "This is his room," she said. Everyone is confused including her parent as they didn't understand my answer. "Izumi, there's nothing in here," said Toshinori while looking around the house trying to find Izuku's mysterious room. She was silent for a moment when heard what her father answered but she decided to say it while looking at the floor. "This is Izuku's room. In the cupboard under the stairs." As soon as she said it, everyone's eyes are starting to bulge including her parents. Toshinori, who didn't want to believe a single word that her daughter said, decided to open the door to see it with his own two eyes. When he opened the door, he was shocked beyond belief. There's only an old single mattress, a dirty pillow, used up tattered clothes, and a small wooden rack in the room, and that's it. No furniture, clothes, or even a single toy or poster on the wall. The walls themselves didn't have any color, it was full of baby cockroaches and some cobwebs and dust decorating the ceiling, and the room is filled with a strong smell of alcohol and BLD. There's a box full of medical kits and about 2 packs of bandages are laying on the mattress. It's a room not fitting for a child, let alone an adult. Enraged with the condition of Izuku's room, Aizawa decided to call him out, but this time, he was holding him with his back touching the wall. Why is my nephew sleeping in a goddamn cupboard? Answer me, you. Aizawa asked while using his quirk to stare at him down to his soul. I don't know. I swear I didn't know that this was Izuku's room at all, said Toshinori while looking frantic. Dad, don't you remember? You decided to move Izuku temporarily while you use his old room for building me a training hall. Izumi decided to intervene between her father and her uncle. No, I didn't remember that. Toshinori tries to deny it. Izumi, when did your brother move in from his actual room? Aizawa asked while still using his quirk for intimidation. Ever since I entered junior high, I can't exactly remember precisely, I answer quietly while looking at the ground. When those answers meet with their ears, everyone can't believe what they just heard, including Aizawa. His nephew had been living in this dump for 3 whole years. They were hoping that maybe they heard me wrong, but judging by Aizawa's expression, she was telling the truth. Detective 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗧𝗵 decides to break the silence. So let me get this straight, in the last 3 years, your son has been living in the cupboard for the last 3 years under the excuse that you want to turn his room into Izumi's gym. Then you told him that you're gonna build him a new room which you haven't built till this day. While looking at the Yagi with full hatred. Hold on, this doesn't explain why his room feels dirty. Just look at the room for a second. There's nothing in here. And by that I mean nothing. No furniture, no books, no toys or posters or even proper clothes. I mean, look at this, said Aizawa while lifting one of his clothes that haven't been properly washed. Nisa began to speculate what is happening to young Izuku. The lack of info on his whereabouts, the messy room, the lack of furniture, and proper clothes. He already had the answer, but before he could say it, a certain ash-blonde woman beat him to it. Inko, did you neglect Izuku all this time? Mitsuki asked while looking at her friend intensely. She looks her friend in the eye without breaking eye contact. What do you mean, Mitsuki? How dare you accuse me of that? Inko replied while raising her voice. Then answer my question, when was the last time you met Izuku? Mitsuki asked her friend. Inko tried to answer the question, but she was drawing a blank. She doesn't remember it either. She's trying to remember the last week that they had an outing in the park, but there's no image of Izuku in her memories. Just Toshinori, Inko, and Izumi. The parent-teacher meeting, the graduation party, the last vacation. There's no image of Izuku anywhere in her memory. It's like he doesn't exist in this room, and the only evidence they had is the dirty room that's under the stairs. She was looking for her husband to help her, but he was in the same boat as her. He couldn't remember any interaction with his son in the last week, so he decided to go further to last month, but still empty, then the last year, and yet still nothing. He's still drawing a blank, and all of their acquaintance is looking at them for an answer that they can't provide. The only time that he remembers is from yesterday when he rejected his dream to be a hero. Fear struck Toshinori's mind, as he began to realize the weight of his words as all might. He's starting to freak out internally about what may happen to his son. What's wrong, Inko? I'm still waiting for an answer, you know. The ash-blonde woman replied while looking at her friend with an angered look, but all she got was a silent reply and a perplexed look. I don't know. Inko was looking at the ground when answering her friend's question. She was beyond ashamed of the answer itself. She didn't know when was the last time they saw her son. But Mitsuki still wasn't satisfied, so she decided to barrage her with more questions. What is his favorite food? I don't know. What is his favorite color? I don't know. What is his hobby? I don't know. Who's his favorite hero? I don't know. When was his birthday? I don't know. She broke down crying after her friend asked her so many questions about Izuku and she can't provide a single question. Toshinori decides to rush in while trying to comfort his wife while telling her that everything is gonna be fine. 𝗬𝗏𝗄𝐺 didn't even need to use his quirk to know that Inko was telling the truth. How could a parent didn't know anything about their son? That's what everyone thought in their head as they saw Inko crying on the floor. You did it, didn't you? Tell me, Inko, did you do it? Did you neglect Izuku all this time? Yelled the ash-blonde woman. The room is filled with silence. You could hear the sound of a clock ticking from the other room. No longer the party is filled with a sound of laughter and joy, but instead, it's riddled with questions and mystery. And after what seems to be forever, Toshinori decides to answer the question that everyone has been looking for. Yes, we did. After he's answered the question, every adult in the room is seeing red. They want an answer. And the first one to act is Nizu. How could you do that to your son? Have you lost your mind or something, Toshinori? Do I need to remind you that you didn't start from the top like you are right now? Nizu wanted to tell about how he got one for all from Nana, but he decides to hold his tongue because there are certain people in the room that didn't know about Toshinori's secret identity. Unfortunately, someone decides to intervene with his ranting to Toshinori. If you're wondering, we already know, sir, about Mr. and Mrs. Yagi's secret identity, Shoto tells the principal while interrupting him in the middle of yelling and screaming. What do you mean you know? Explain this, Toshinori. Nizu yelled at the symbol of peace himself, which is shaking like a leaf. So he decides to tell them everything, from their secret identity as All Might and Viridian Storm, which is a shock for those who didn't know. Information about All Might quirk, which is one for all that can be passed from generation to generation. The villain known as All for One is the sworn enemy of One for All. His yesterday's interaction with Izuku told him that quirkless people couldn't be a hero. The meeting with Izumi and her friends led to Izumi being deemed worthy of wielding One for All. After a good 1 hour, everyone was shocked as their brain is starting to process this information. All Might identity, his passable quirk, the villain All for One. But the shocking information is the quirk itself. Quirks can't be passed down. They came from genetics, not something like a torch that you passed around in the middle of the Olympics. When he was done explaining, Aizawa decided to approach Toshinori and punch him in the face. 𝗬𝗲𝗍𝗍, how dare you say that he wasn't worthy for your quirk? You didn't even bother to interact with him, and yet here you are having the ball to tell that he didn't have what it takes. Aizawa yells at his face as he keeps punching him in the stomach, causing him to spew blood on the floor. You're lucky that you're the symbol of peace, or I will personally make sure that you never see a daylight ever again. All Might. Nizu screams at the blonde man while holding his teacup and almost breaking it. When Aizawa continues to punch the symbol of peace himself, a certain old man with a yellow cape decides to throw his hat in the ring. He holds his collar while looking at Toshinori with an angered look. The symbol of peace is scared beyond belief because his mentor, Gran Torino, is looking at him in the eye as he stares at his soul. Why did I never learn of your son until now? I was only told that you only had a daughter, not a daughter and son. Gran Torino yelled furiously at his student in the face while all he could do is just stay silent. Answer me, Toshinori, or I'll kill you at this spot right here and now, as the elderly demand an answer. He was beyond pissed to know that his student has kept hidden the existence of his grandson over the last 14 years. I don't know, it just happened that we pushed him out of our lives, Toshinori said while shaking at the sight of his emcee grabbing his collar. He had never seen Gran Torino look so pissed like this, and it scares the CRP out of him. So you just pushed him out of your life? Do you take me for a fool, Toshinori? I bet that Nana is rolling at her grave right now. Gran Torino yells at him while mentioning his deceased MSDR's name as well. It felt like someone stabs him in his wound with a knife. We need to find him right now. He's missing and nowhere to be found. We should put a missing case right now. 𝗬𝗏𝗄𝐺, can you do it? Enji said while looking at 𝗬𝗏𝗄𝐺, hoping to find his nephew. Sure, I open the case right now, 𝗬𝗏𝗄𝐺 said while looking at the flame hero. And as for you too, don't think that we're done with you. Once we find him, we're gonna put him in safe care. Away from all of you, that's for sure, Nizu said venomously at the Yagi. You can't do that. He's my boy. I'm not gonna let you separate me from my baby, said Inko while internally panicking about having his son be removed from the family. What boy? He hasn't been your boy in the last 10 years, Aizawa yells back at her. As they all shouted in the house between the Yagis and Aizawa, Nizu, Gran Torino, and Enji for the custody of Izuku Yagi. The Yagi thinks that Izuku should belong with his family, but the rest of them thinks that he should be placed in foster care, or he could live in Todoroki's house or Aizawa's instead. Izumi is just watching in the middle of the conversation as she watches what happened in front of her eyes. All the shouting and yelling, it's all of her and her friend's fault. None of this would have happened if they had just supported him how they were supposed to be. If she had just said no to Katsuki's plan that day, then all of this could have been avoided. The bullying, the mean name calling, the discrimination, the abuse, the beatdown, the suicide baiting, and the murder. If she's just doing what a proper sister is supposed to do, her brother would have been standing beside her right now. They would celebrate their party together, not fighting like right now. She couldn't handle the pressure and the stress anymore. The guilt is eating her slowly, so she decides to open her mouth while speaking in a shaking tone and tears come out of her eyes. It's no use. As soon as she said that, Aizawa stops with their arguing. He decides to comfort Izumi, who's panicking over her brother. And the children are sweating bullets hoping that Izumi didn't tell him the truth. Izumi, it's okay, we're gonna find your brother. Everything is gonna be fine, said Aizawa in a calmer tone. No, you don't understand. It's no use whether you look for him now or later, said Izumi while continuing to sob. What are you talking about? Izumi, what is going on? Aizawa said while internally panicking over Izumi's reaction. While continuing to sob, Izumi decides to just rip the bandage right now and get it done. She said it loud enough for everyone in the room to hear while continuing to cry. He's gone, he's already gone. After Izumi's sudden outburst, no one in the room is making any sounds at all. Toshinori and Inko eyes were wide open for the first time today. The adults were having a shocked expressions and some of them were starting to cry silently. The children were just hanging their heads low with Izumi's outburst because they were also responsible for what happened to Izuku. And Aizawa was still in pure shock. He hadn't felt like this ever since his friend Shirakumo died a few years ago, and right now he felt the same dread again, but this time it was his nephew. The first one to crack is Inko as she looks at her daughter for confirmation. What do you mean Izumi? Izuku isn't gone? All right, he's just gone missing. While holding her daughter's face and looking at her daughter, but she couldn't do the same for her. I'm sorry, Izuku Oniai-chan, he's already gone, Izumi said while sobbing at her daughter. Her face is wet from the tears that come out of her eyes as she couldn't handle it anymore. Izumi, said Aizawa speaking calmly, but she could tell that he was holding a lot of venoms. What do you mean your brother is dead? However, Izumi just stands quietly while looking at her feet. She didn't want to admit it. She was scared. It's one thing to admit your brother is dead, but admitting that you took part, it's a hard pill to swallow. Izumi answers my question, Aizawa said while looking at Izumi intensely. Izumi mutters while avoiding his gaze. Izumi, I'm asking nicely right now. Aizawa looked at her nephew while using his quirk for intimidation. However, Izumi still stays silent and clammed up. Having no answer, Aizawa decides to take matters into his hand. Fine, you won't talk, then we'll go to the police station for a statement and including your parents. While trying to scare her off. Aizawa, you can't just arrest my daughter like that, Toshinori yelled at the underground hero. Shut up, Yagi, you have no right to talk. Your son is dead and Izumi didn't want to fess up. As a pro-hero, I have the authority to bring her to the police for questioning. Aizawa roared back at the Yagi, who's still looking in disbelief. His son is dead and now his daughter is about to get arrested? His heart couldn't take it, so he decided to fight back. No, I won't allow it. You're not gonna arrest my daughter in my own house. Toshinori yelled back while ready to use his quirk for intimidation. You're not above the law, Toshinori, so I suggest that you stand down right now, Aizawa said while using his quirk and looking at the frail Yagi. Tsukachi, take Izumi to the station. We're questioning her once we arrive there. No, Shota, you're not gonna taking Izumi away from me, Inko screamed while continuing to cry, but Aizawa grabbed Izumi armed and pulled her away from where she was standing. Can't handle the pressure, Izumi just shouts out in the middle, "We did it. It's all of our fault." After Izumi shouts, the rest of the adults was confused by her statement, while the rest of her friends were sweating bullets because Izumi just basically confessed their crime in front of their parents and a bunch of pro-heroes. As the police officer in the room, 𝗧𝗵𝗃 decides to take the matter into his hand. "Izumi, what do you mean it's your fault?" 𝗧𝗵𝗃 asked her with a firm tone while trying to interrogate her. "𝗬𝗍𝗧𝗏, what are you doing?" said Toshinori. "You'll also like that 𝗬𝗏//villain Deku by Musical Leaf Juice 15 that 𝗬𝗏//villain Deku 3M1K that day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could Izuku Yagi. Hades ring by Rix 999 Izuku Yagi. Hades ring K9K 4 months have passed since the war between Japan and outcast of hell. Izuku Yagi is being locked in an unknown facility facing his punishment for his wrongdoing. The New Life with No Memories by 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏 New Life with No Memories 4K9K Izuku Yagi son of Inko Yagi and Toshinori Yagi. Izuku was always a happy child full of energy and enthusiasm, that was until he was diagnosed quirkless. Luckily his 𝗬𝗏𝗏 Bad Life by 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗏 Bad Life 3K that day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could match 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏 by passing ghost friend 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏 K5K. Izuku quit dreaming of becoming a pro-hero after 3 times of being denied. He decided to screw it and just be normal. He has part-time jobs. He recently graduated. Don't Let Go by Warrior Dragon 215 Don't Let Go 3K2K. Izuku always wondered where he went wrong in his life. He wondered what he did wrong to deserve everything he got. After I in turn messed up telling his parents he didn't. "My job Toshinori," said the detective without looking at his friend. "Nizu, you have to stop this." Inko pleads to the principal. "No, right now we need to know the truth. I already have a hunch based on her answer just now, but I want to make sure of it." 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏 answered while praying to God that for once he was wrong. "So I asked again, Izumi, what do you mean it's your fault?" 𝗧𝗵𝗃 asked while using his quirk on her. Right now, Izumi was stuck between a rock and hard place. She knows about her uncle's quirk that can detect any lie that comes out of her mouth. If she tells the truth, then everyone will know about her evil deed for the last 10 years and she could ruin her future of being a hero before it even started. But if she lies, then the detective will know about it and she gets into bigger trouble than she already has. Either way, she's screwed. So she decided to tell the detective everything that has been going on to Izuku for the last 10 years. How she and Izuku go to the quirk doctor and Izuku is quirkless, her plan to keep her brother safe, Katsuki's plan to bully her brother, the lies that she tells to her parents, how Izuku bullies her at school, the bullying in school, the abuse from her friend, the grade sabotage from the teacher, the discrimination by the school, the beating that they give it to him, how they suicide baiting him at the last day of school, Izuku lash out at them in the alley, how they torture him and left him there till he died. After she was done explaining it, all of them are looking disbelief. No one can mutter a single word and their mind is still shocked. This can't be true, right? There's no way Izumi is responsible for her brother's death. 𝗧𝗏𝗃 for the love of God, please tell me Izumi is lying right now. Aizawa looked at her friend while pleading for the first time in his life, hoping that what they heard just now is nothing but some sort of crazy joke. However, 𝗧𝗏𝗃 looked at the underground hero while speaking in a small voice. It's true. She's telling the truth. No one wants to believe this at all. The parents are looking at their children who just stood while looking at their own feet and have not spoken a single word. Some of them are looking very angry, while others look in disbelief. They claimed that they want to be a hero, and yet what they did is nothing but villainous. Can't handle the news that just come in, Inko broke down in tears. No, this can't be true. No, and my baby. Izuku. Izuku, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Inko broke down crying while her husband is holding her, but he also joined her wife in crying. She couldn't handle that her baby boy is dead. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, my boy. Please forgive me, as Toshinori joined her wife in crying in sorrow with no one comforting the Yagi. Tell me what passed to your stinking brain to do such a thing to your brother. Gran Torino yelled at Izumi while using his staff to hit her. He was livid with what she's done to her flesh and BLD. And after that, all hell breaks loose in the Yagi residence. How could you do that to your brother Izumi? Inko yelled at her daughter while crying on the floor. I was trying to protect him. I don't want him to be a hero and died because he didn't have a quirk. Izumi yelled back at her mother while still crying. And you, what gave you the right to tell him whether he could be a hero or not? You can't control his life like some din puppet shodo. Enji yelled while looking at his son with a hatred look and subconsciously use his quirk a little. We were only trying to protect him. We want to keep him safe. Shoto argued back. And you did a wonderful job, boy. I'm very proud of you, Enji said sarcastically. So let me get this straight. Instead of talking to him like sensible people or trying to talk him out to change his career, all 22 of you choose to beat the lesson to him for the last 10 years. Have you all gone insane? Nizu yelled while throwing his teacup to the wall right next to Izumi. You don't know what to say. I barely have any respect towards you when I heard that you neglected your son, but after hearing that your daughter is participating in his demise, consider us no longer colleague All Might. Night Eye said while mentioning his hero name instead his real name. So in your eyes, I'm not fit to be a hero, right? Aizawa asked the rest of the children. What do you mean, you're a pro-hero? Of course, you're fit to be a hero, said Shoto while glaring at Aizawa. I only have a quirk that can erase other people's quirks. Basically, I fight quirkless with my capture gear. So am I not capable to be a hero too, huh? I dare you all to come up with a degrading nickname fitting for me, since in your eyes I'm nothing more but a useless quirkless, right? Aizawa screamed at the kids who just looked scared while trying to hold their tears. As the parents start yelling at their children, the first one to react is Masaru, and he just grabbed Katsuki's collar and punched him in the face so hard. You could hear the smacking sound from the other side of the room. Katsuki just falls face down to the floor as he spews some BLD from his mouth. What the hell, old man? Katsuki replied to his father. Get up, Katsuki, said Masaru in a calm but menacing tone. Everyone in the room is too shocked by what just happened. They didn't dare to speak as they just watch Masaru punch his son in front of everyone. Katsuki tries to get up. He was livid as his old man punches him out of nowhere. But when he did it, Masaru just punches him again till he's down. Get up, Toshinori wants to intervene, but Aizawa and Enji put their hands in front of him telling him not to. The rest of Bakugu's classmates couldn't believe what they were seeing in front of their eyes. Katsuki Bakugu, the strongest kid in their school and possibly in their hometown, just got a beatdown from his father. Katsuki tries to get up, and when he did, his face met with a right hook from his father again, so he fell face down again. I said get up. So he gets back up again, and Masaru just beat him down till he's down again, and he keeps doing it again over the last 15 minutes. Katsuki just keeps spewing BLD and saliva. He felt angry, but most of all he was confused. His father keeps beating him when he gets up and telling him to get up every time he's down. Can't handle the sight, Toshinori screamed at Masaru. Masaru, that's enough. Look at your son. What's the point of all of this? Toshinori screamed at him, but Masaru didn't care slightest what the Yagi just said to him. Get up, Katsuki, you claimed to be the next #1 hero, right? So a little beating from your old man shouldn't be a problem for you, right? Masaru yelled at his son, who could barely stand up. I said get up, Katsuki. Masaru kicks him in the stomach while he just spewing saliva and a little BLD. And by how hard he kicks him, Aizawa and Enji could tell that his ribs are cracking. But Katsuki couldn't get up anymore. His body didn't listen to him as he just laying on the ground. Masaru grabbed his collar and pulled him to meet with a pissed look on his father's face. Dad, please stop. Katsuki begs his father for the first time in his life. No longer he's Katsuki Bakugu, the pride of 𝗲𝗪 Junior High, the self-proclaimed #1 hero. He's just a pitiful boy who just got his butt kicked by his father. But you beat Izuku for 10 years till he's dead for trying to be a hero, right? So why shouldn't I do the same thing to you for trying to be a hero, let alone for trying to be the #1 hero? Masaru asked harshly to his son, and for the first time, Katsuki was lost for words. He couldn't answer his father as he just looked at his father while trying to hold his consciousness. Fed up with his son, Masaru just tossed his son to the ground as he fell to the floor, but not before saying his last word of the night while looking at his two children. "I can't believe you two right now. Of all the shits that you've pulled, I've never been more furious with your action right now. Your mother spent the last 9 months holding you two in her WMB. We sacrificed a lot to raise you both over the last 14 years, and this is the result of our sacrifice. So let me ask you both, are you two even human or not?" Both of the Bakugo twins are shocked by what their father just asked them. It hurts them on the inside to know that their parent is disgusted with their children. They both looked at their parents, but all they saw was just the back of their father and their mother just sobbing on the floor for failing to raise them properly. It's like their personality just got swapped. So the twins did something that they never have done before since they were born. They cried. They just crying their eyes out. "Masaru, how could you say something so heartless? They're your kids, for God's sake." Toshinori screamed at Masaru while fed up with his attitude towards his children. However, Masaru just yelled back at him for his lack of awareness of what is happening. "Heartless, I'm heartless. Open your eyes, Toshinori. Your son is dead and my kids are part of the reason for why is it happening to him. And what do you want me to do? Pat them on the back while saying a good job. You are supposed to yell at them for why they are responsible for Izuku's death, but you just stay silent like the coward you are." Aye. Toshinori is lost for words at the sudden outburst from Masaru. It should have been his job to yell at the Bakugo twins and not Masaru, but he's too much of a coward to do it. Tsukachi decides to intervene with more revelation. "Hold on, there's still something that is bugging me from Izumi's previous statement." "What do you mean, Naomasa?" Inko asked while wiping his eyes from the tears. She's too scared to know what more could have happened to his baby boy that she hasn't already known. During my last questioning of Izumi's statement, I asked her whether she and her friends ever harmed Izuku both physically or mentally. And she said yes, that she and her friends bullied him all the time. Tsukachi explained to everyone in the room, especially the Yagi. "And what is the problem?" said Midnight while scared a little about what was about to happen. "That statement is half-truth," he answered while looking at the kids intensely. Confused with what he just said, Aizawa asked the detective, "So what does that mean?" "It means that either Izumi is still hiding the truth from us or she might have known something that could have happened to her brother but wasn't sure that it happened. So I asked you again, Izumi, what are you still hiding from us? And let me remind you again that you couldn't lie in front of me," said Tsukachi while intimidating her. Scared of the detective threat, Izumi tells him what other information she's hiding from them. Flashbacks start in the middle of Mizudafu. There's a shady-looking hotel just outside of the town. It's about 2 miles from their school. We could see Izuku laying unconscious on the bed while both of his hands is tied up on the bed head frame. Izuku's eyes are starting to open slowly as he looked at the room in front of him. The room is quite dark as there's only a small light near what seems to be an entrance door. His hand is cuffed to the bed frame as he couldn't get out of there. The boy was scared and confused. The last thing that he remembers is that he's trying to go to a convenience store to get more bandages and alcohol to tend her wound when suddenly someone is knocking his head till he's unconscious. He's scared that he may get kidnapped or something, not that his parent ever gonna notice that he's missing from home or something, but for a young boy to get kidnapped at this age, surely it would be traumatized. But that's nothing to what is about to happen to Izuku. After a couple of minutes, someone entered the room. Izuku couldn't see who was entering, and after his eyes are adjusting to the dark he could see ash blonde hair and a short pink hair girl entering. It's Katsumi and Mina. Then more people entered one by one, and Izuku saw the entire girls in his classroom and they were all still in their school uniforms. If Izuku was scared before, now he's terrified beyond belief. Did they want to torture him here, in a closed room? "Are you finally awake, Deku?" Katsumi asked while looking at him. What's going on? God, he's so stupid. He still hasn't figured it out yet. Uraraka said while looking at Izuku lustfully. "Hey Izumi, did your mom drop him in the head when he was a baby or something?" Katsumi asked her best friend while making fun of Izuku. "Beats me, maybe he was born this stupid or something," Izumi replied while smiling mischievously. Izuku looked around and he see everyone standing surrounding him on the bed. There are Izumi, Katsumi, Shoka, Uraraka, Momo, Jiraiya, Mina, Tsuyu, and Toru. All of them are looking at him with a little hunger in their eyes, and this scares Izuku very much. He had no idea what was going on. Well, since you're too much of an idiot to understand, guess we have to explain it to you, Katsumi told him in an irritating tone. Lately, you seem to ignore us. Not to mention you have been avoiding us in the last couple of weeks. Uraraka joined it as well. And no, I didn't, Izuku asked while stuttering. Shut up, we didn't give you permission to speak, Deku. Katsumi roared while slapping his cheek till it was red. You know, I think he needs a reminder on how to behave around us, Mina asked while smiling, but it was filled with every bad intention. I think you're right, Mina. We need to tighten our leash around his neck. Show him who he belongs to, Momo said while creating a leash with her quirk. Well, you know what to do, Mina, Izumi said while snapping her finger. And suddenly Mina used her quirk to melt some of Izuku's school uniforms. The acid is so strong that it's starting to burn some of his skin. Izuku tried to scream, but Jiro grabbed 𝗵𝗃𝗁𝗍𝗂𝗔𝗂𝗧𝗏 and put it on his mouth. Right now, every bone in his body is telling him to run and get out of this instance, but the cuffs are holding him down to the bed. For the first time, Izuku felt genuine fear. Sure, the bullying and the beatdown may hurt him physically, but this gonna scar him for life. Katsumi decides to crawl to the chained boy while smiling like a predator. His eyes are filled with hunger and lust like the rest of the girls in this room. Tonight we're gonna remind you that your life belongs to us. And for the rest of the night, the hotel room is filled with screams, yelling, sounds, and a cry for help from a young Izuku. Flashback end, and that's what 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗧𝗏. Izumi didn't finish her sentence as Inko slapped her so hard with tears in her eyes. Izumi was shocked. This is the first time her mother has ever slapped her, and it hurts. How could you help them RP your brother? Inko shouts at her daughter while looking enraged and disgusted by her action. She can't get the image that her baby boy is being held against his will while the other girls are trying to RP him. It hurts her heart as a mother to know that her child is being treated like some sort of SLV, and all she could do is just ignored it. What the F is going through your head? Katsumi, you said that you love Izuku, so is this part of your twisted way to show that you love him by RP him? Mitsuki roared at her daughter while all she could do is just look at the floor and not met her mother's eyes. And all of you, Inko roared while looking at the rest of the girls, I should kill all of you right now, using her quirk to levitate some of the items in the house. Everyone in the room is looking shocked while some of them still try to grasp what's going on. Their daughter is raping someone, and it happens to be their friend whom they know for over 10 years. Mitsuki and Rei were looking at their daughter in disgust. Namuri had both of her hands on her mouth trying to cover it up. Inko is still enraged and trying to harm the kids that hurt her baby boy all this time, but it's currently being held by Aizawa and Mike. Do you have any idea how many laws all of you have broke in the last 10 years? Bullying, physical bullying, mental bullying, cyberbullying, property damage, physical abuse, mental abuse, neglect, RPE, and illegal quirk usage. The list goes on and on. Naomasa screamed at all of them. We're sorry, okay, we didn't mean to go this far, Uraraka yelled while bawling her eyes out. And what do you hope to happen then? Izuku suddenly forgives you all and you all could be together for the rest of your life. This isn't some fairy tale for God's sake. It's not how the F world work, Aizawa screamed at the once bubbly girl as he fed up with their lack of intelligence. Enough, Nizu screamed at the top of his lungs. His scream is loud enough to make all the children and adults stop arguing while looking at the rat principal himself. With everyone already on the edge, he decided to be the voice of reason in this house. This won't change anything at all. We can stay here and argue all night long, but it won't change the fact that Izuku Yagi is dead. So here's what we're gonna do. You're going to lead us to where you buried him. We're gonna grab his body and give him a proper burial. After that, we're gonna decide what's your punishment. Is that clear? Nizu said while gaining a nod from everyone in the room. So they decided to go bring his body home and give him the proper burial that he deserves. It's 11 p.m. and it's raining hard with thunderstorms. We could see around 10 cars driving in the middle of the road near Mizudafu. Inside those cars, no one utters a single word along the road. The ride is so quiet and full of tension as they just drive for over an hour. No one spoke to each other or turned the radio to cut the tension. It feels like anyone that dares to utter a word will get yelled out by everyone in the car. Inside one of the cars, there are a total of 5 passengers sitting in the car. The one that's driving is 𝗧𝗵𝗲, also known as Eraserhead, as he just drives in total silence while having a solemn face. Sitting beside him is Detective 𝗬𝗏𝗍, who's just looking at the road and not bothering to look at the 3 passengers behind him as he was too disgusted with their presence in the car. Behind them is the Yagi family sitting in the car in a gloomy atmosphere. Inko is sitting on the left side of the car near the window. She just looked at the window crying while hugging a certain photo frame as she started to reflect on her entire life all this time. She misses her baby boy. She could still remember when he was 3 years old, when she would feed him, play in the park, read him a bedtime story, or tuck him onto bed. And the saddest part is, that's all the memories she had of Izuku. There are no memories of him in the last 10 years that she remembers. She couldn't remember any family dinner, school field trip, movie night, or family vacation. There is no image of Izuku in any of those memories. The fact that she doesn't remember what Izuku looked like is making her 100 times worse than she already has. How could a mother doesn't remember what her son looked like? She realized that she already failed as a mother, and that's why she hugged the photo frame even tighter. It's the last reminder of her son that she still has. It's the photo of Izuku when he was 4 years old. Toshinori is no better than his wife. He was quirkless just like his son. He of all people should know what it feels like to be quirkless, to have no friend, to get belittled like nothing important. Hell, he is probably the reason why his son is quirkless in the first place. When he chose to marry Inko, he said in front of her and everyone that he vowed that he would love their children no matter what. And look how that turned out to be. His son is already dead and his daughter is the cause of his death. Some father he turned out to be, he's just like his father. An abusive man that doesn't give a F about his children. I guess what people said is true. Like father like son. Izumi is sitting on the right side of the car with a sorrowful expression. She regrets what she did along with her friends. She promised that she would protect him from danger, that she didn't want him to die in a villain attack. And what did she do? She broke her brother both body and spirit. The punches, the kicks, the insult, the beating. Izumi claimed that it was all to show him that quirks are dangerous, that without them you couldn't be a hero. But somewhere deep down, she began to enjoy it along with her friend. The sound of his scream and cry for help, it makes her feel alive. She's very disgusted with how she turned out to be right now. From a loving and caring sister to a self-centered bitch that likes to torment her brother. She figures that once Izuku is already given up to be a hero and he dropped his UA application, then she and her friends could apologize to him. Then perhaps he could go get a job somewhere and she could introduce his brother to her friends that have a crush on him. She knew that Katsumi and Shoka always had a crush on him ever since they were kids. Momo too considered that she was friends with Izuku since he was a toddler. But now it's nothing but a twisted dream that she pictured for a long time. 1 hour has passed since they drive to the site and they finally arrive. They got out of the car and grabbed a flashlight for everyone so that they could see since it was the middle of the night. "Where is it?" Aizawa asked sternly to Izumi. "You'll also like that day //villain Deku by Musical Leaf Juice 15 that day //villain Deku 3M1K that day." They didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could Izuku Yagi. Hades Ring by Rix 999. Izuku Yagi. Hades Ring K9K. 4 months have passed since the war between Japan and Outcast of Hell. Izuku Yagi is being locked in an unknown facility facing his punishment for his wrongdoing. The New Life with No Memories by 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏. New Life with No Memories 4K9K. Izuku Yagi, son of Inko Yagi and Toshinori Yagi. Izuku was always a happy child full of energy and enthusiasm. That was until he was diagnosed quirkless. Luckily his Yun One Bad Life by 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏. One Bad Life 3K. That day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could match 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃 by passing ghost friend 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃 K5K. Izuku quit dreaming of becoming a pro hero after 3 times of being denied. He decided to screw it and just be normal. He has part-time jobs, he recently graduated. Don't Let Go by Warrior Dragon 215 Don't Let Go 3K2K Izuku always wondered where he went wrong in his life. He wondered what he did wrong to deserve everything he got. After I in turn messed up telling his parents he didn't. It's right there, she said while pointing the way. Lead the way, Aizawa told her, and she just complied with no question. They didn't argue or spoke, just walk in silence while the children are leading them the way to the grave. It was a chilly night, the wind was rustling while the tree leaves falling everywhere. The sound of owls and crickets could be heard from the distance as they continue to walk in. As Katsuki and Izumi lead them the way as Aizawa and Tsukachi follow them from behind. Finally, they arrive at the location. It was a tall tree with rough leaves, and the tree itself is marked with an engraving with a letter of IY which stands for Izuku Yagi. Everyone looked at the tree with a saddened look on their face while the kids are getting traumatic memories that flashes through their eyes, where they carried Izuku's body from the alley to this forest and buried it in a hurry so that no one would look for it. Aizawa decides to break the silence by saying to Katsuki while looking at him with an angered look, "All of you dig the grave." Normally Katsuki would grunt or click his tongue, but he just silently obeyed and the rest of them just follow suit. Momo is trying to create a shovel for them to dig the grave, but Aizawa uses his quirk on her. "Use your hands," and no quirk. Momo and her friends want to retort to his request, but the way Aizawa said it, it was more of an order instead of a request. So they just dig the grave with their hands while the adults are looking at them and looking at the grave. All of them continue to keep digging the grave no matter how dark it is. Their hand is digging the soil and their dress is covered with dirt and torn a bit, but no one complained or argue about it. They just continue to dig no matter how dark or dirty it is. They continue to dig until someone feels something in the ground. "Guys, I found something," Kirishima yelled. When he yelled, everyone began to scramble and dig the spot that he mentioned. They continued to dig till they felt something that touches the surface of their fingers. They continued to scrub the dirt till it was visible and found something a hand. Once they saw that, they just dig it even further and faster. Some of the adults standing in the front caught a glimpse of it and all their spines is chilling by the looks of it. As they continue, Mina is screeching a little while crying along with Jairu and Toru. Aizawa takes a look at what's going on with them, and when he does his heart nearly stopped at what he saw. A half-buried face of Izuku. He was shocked beyond belief. It's one thing to hear that your nephew is already dead, but seeing his corpse in front of him just makes him want to throw up. Aizawa spoke quietly, "Keep going," but some of them are shaking cause they were too scared to continue. They just get a front row seat to the consequences of their action and they don't want to continue. Had enough. Aizawa grabbed the nearest of them, which is Kaminari, and yelled at him, "All of you are the ones that put him there, now all of you are gonna get him out there." Kaminari never felt so scared in his life before. He's also one of the main tormentors that make Izuku's life a living hell, and after just seeing his corpse buried in front of his eye, he truly regrets bullying him. He tried to look at his parent for help, but all he saw was their parent turning their heads in shame. Deciding to just bite the bullet, he continues to dig the grave till Izuku's body is completely out there. Every second of his face starting to show up is a moment of torture for all of them. About 20 minutes have passed, and they finally managed to pull him out of there. The adult was shocked at the state of his corpse. Izuku's body is mangled beyond recognition. Half of his body is filled with scars from explosions, burn marks, frostbite, and stab wounds. Both of his arms are covered with burn marks and frostbite. His hand is having a stab wound with some ice still in the palm of his hands. His face is covered in bruises and dried blood covers his mouth. His body is very skinny. He doesn't have any muscle underneath those clothes as they could see his bone from his skin. They didn't give him any food. That's what crosses their mind as they saw Izuku's corpse, which proves that he was malnourished in his own house. If someone tell them that Izuku was attacked by a rabid dog and got thrown to the side of the furnace, then they would have believed them without a doubt. Inko and Toshinori decide to rush in without second thought as they approach their son's grave. They want to see him. No, they have to see him no matter what. "No, no, 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 no. No, my baby," Inko screamed while hugging her son's lifeless body as tightly as she could. Toshinori just dropped his knee to the ground while silently crying, "What have I done? I'm sorry, Izuku, I'm sorry, my boy," while approaching his son to hug him as well. Inko and Toshinori just cried as loudly as they could while holding the last reminder of their son. Izumi and her friend just looked at the result of their action in front of their eyes. Her family is broken beyond repair, and it's all of her and her friend's fault. It's sad to know that they will only care when you were gone. They want to move his body so they could bury him properly, but Inko won't move anywhere from her baby boy. It took the effort of Toshinori, Enji, Mitsuki, and Rei to try to separate her from Izuku. Midnight, Mike, could you help move the body to the car? Aizawa asked without looking at his colleague. He won't turn around because he didn't want them to see him crying about the loss of his nephew. They just moved and grabbed a white sheet to try to cover his body and carried it to the car. Inko just struggles in Toshinori's arms, trying to reach her son's corpse. No, please, that's my baby boy. He needs me. She screamed as she tried desperately to get to her son. But as soon as they were out of her grasp, she just broke down and fell to her knees. Today, we have failed our duty as heroes. We failed to protect a young man from his demise. We as heroes have failed to try to protect one of our own, and that is the sin that we must carry in our lives. Nizu said loud enough for everyone to hear it. We will hold his ceremony in the next 3 days from today. I hope that all of you could attend it, and as for all of you, we will discuss your punishment in UA right now. I don't give a damn whether it's already 1 in the morning. All of you will be there right now. Is that clear? Nizu yelled the last part while looking at the kids and the Yagi family. All the adults are starting to walk away while thinking, how could this happen to a young boy? Especially someone like Izuku. He was kind. He's well-mannered. He's everything that a parent wants from their child. They have known Izuku ever since they were 4 years old, and they know that kid like their own, unlike his parent. He doesn't deserve this kind of treatment. And what did his parent do with that boy? They treated him as nothing but a nuisance. The Yagi was just about to leave with Inko still sobbing and Toshinori trying to comfort her in a hug when all of a sudden a certain family decide to approach the Yagi family with their offspring following them from behind. I couldn't believe you, Inko. How could you do that to your son? I know that he was a kind kid just like his father, but you and your family just tossed him aside like trash. Hisashi would be ashamed of you right now. The one who said those words was none other than Momo's father, who's a great friend to Inko's late husband, Hisashi Midoriya. When those words left his mouth, Inko is starting to remember his late husband that was caught in an accident in hero work and died. His late husband would be ashamed of what she turns out to be right now. So she once again broke down in tears while muttering sorry over and over again while leaving her in there alone. Izuku POV, where am I and what was I doing here? That's what filled my mind as I stood in the middle of a void, which I presume. I opened my eyes and there was no sight of anything in there. It's total darkness. I couldn't feel no air and my senses aren't working as they should be. I'm trying to remember how could I be trapped wherever this place is, but my memory is still blurry for some reason. All I could remember is a flashing light and a burning sensation. And an evil smirk for some reason. Then my mind is starting to click. I got blasted by fire or explosion perhaps. But why am I got blasted? Did I got stuck in the middle of a war or something? I tried to concentrate my mind, trying really hard to remember what was happening to me. I'm starting to remember a dark alley, an enraged emotion, a burst of mocking laughter, a flash of an explosion, and finally a chilling feeling. My mind is trying to put the piece together, but it feels like something is still missing. Like something to tie the piece all together. I feel like I had the puzzle piece, but I don't have the image on the puzzle. Then I'm starting to remember something that makes my blood boil, a word that makes me want to puke. Deku. Now I remember, I was attacked in the middle of the alley. I'm trying to vent out my anger as I remember that my deadbeat father is actually the #1 hero, All Might, and turns out that he has a quirk that could be transferred to me, but he chose his egotistical sister because I wasn't worthy enough. So I lashed out and tried to vent out my anger and frustration by trashing a couple of junk and trash in an alley, where those asshats of friends decided to confront me. But I decided to fight back, which is kinda weird for me. It's like someone pumps all my brain cells with drags or something. I feel like I was a supercar that was put on a fast lane in a circuit. But I was outnumbered and outmatched, as much as I hate to say it. And they beat me up so bad that I was dead. Wait. I'm dead. I could tell that I didn't have a coma, 'cause my heart stopped as I hold my chest to feel a pulse. Or maybe I had a concussion that my mind is starting to hallucinate. But that doesn't explain that I couldn't feel or see anything. Maybe it's the afterlife. So is this heaven or hell? Or perhaps like an impasse between them? As I was stuck in my own thought, a flash of red light appeared from the sky. I looked up and the light is falling down on me. I'm trying to evade it, but it landed straight in front of me. As the light is forming a silhouette of someone or something, I couldn't tell. Well, it took quite a while for you to figure out how you died, but not bad for a newbie, said the mysterious voice. Who are you? I replied while looking at the light itself with caution. Well, you could call me 𝗧𝗵𝗲, you feeble human, said the demon while looking at me like I'm an inferior being. Where am I and what's going on? I asked, looking alarmed as an actual demon is literally standing in front of me. Since your tiny human brain couldn't figure it out, let me explain this to you. Right now, you're currently stuck in limbo. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 answered rudely. A limbo? I replied back to his answer. Yes, it's like a waiting room for you humans. A human soul that just left the human realm and now wandering around in here waiting for your judgment, he replied. You'll also like that ///villain Deku by Musical Leaf Juice 15 that ///villain Deku 3M1K that day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗧𝗏 𝗧𝗪𝗏 by Rick's 999 Izuku Yagi. 𝗧𝗪𝗏 K9K 4 months have passed since the war between Japan and outcast of hell. Izuku Yagi is being locked in an unknown facility facing his punishment for his wrongdoing. The New Life with No Memories by 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃 New Life with No Memories 4K9K Izuku Yagi, son of Inko Yagi and Toshinori Yagi. Izuku was always a happy child full of energy and enthusiasm. That was until he was diagnosed quirkless. Luckily his 𝗬𝗏 bad life by 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗃 bad life 3K that day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could match 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃 by passing ghost friend 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃 K5K. Izuku quit dreaming of becoming a pro hero after 3 times of being denied. He decided to screw it and just be normal. He has part-time jobs. He recently graduated. Don't Let Go by Warrior Dragon 215 Don't Let Go 3K2K. Izuku always wondered where he went wrong in his life. He wondered what he did wrong to deserve everything he got. After I in turn messed up telling his parents he didn't. Wait, so I'm like in hell or something? I asked. Looking a little intrigued, he decided to ask, what makes you so sure we're not in heaven? Well, for one thing, demons didn't live in heaven and I'm pretty sure they don't let someone as ugly as you around there. And by how you act, you seem to belong on the other side of the realm and indulge a judge and executioner role here. I answer him while looking him in the eye without blinking. For a human, you're not quite as dumb as you look, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 answered while smirking slightly. Yeah, well I tend to have more of a brain instead of a brawn, I replied. It seems likely, he replied while taking a look at me. So why am I here? I asked while trying to get an answer. He looked at me for a while before answering my question. We're here to decide your fate in the afterlife. I silently looked at him without saying a word. You seem awfully quiet, he said while slightly surprised, expecting a lot of questions or something. Yeah, well I already accepted my fate. I'm dead, so what's new? I replied with a bored tone. Most people would cower in fear while begging on their knees hoping that they go to heaven, he explained. Well, the way I see it in my previous life, God has given me a dysfunctional card right from the start, I said to him. Looking a little intrigued, he decided to ask, do tell. Well, you see, my childhood is filled with drama that comes from within. For starters, I'm quirkless, so that comes with a package of neglect and abuse. My beach sister is the head of my tormentor. My deadbeat father and my worthless mother are living in a la-la land where everything is perfect and Izumi is never wrong. My friends are nothing but hellspawn whose only purpose is to make my life a living hell. The school is infested with rats that they called teachers and shitbags they called students. And society is filled with SHT for a brain that claims quirkless is useless. So does that sum up the story of my life? I asked nonchalantly. 𝗏𝗲 is just staring at him while listening to the story, but on the inside, he was kinda excited. Maybe he could be the one that he was looking for all this time. So he decided to test him a little. So your life is 𝗧𝗏𝗃, and what's your plan now? Get an early retirement in the afterlife or something? I replied back while grunting a little. I rather spend eternity here than setting my foot in that place called Earth. Decided to cut the chase. 𝗏𝗲 starts to stand and walk toward him. Very well then, let's talk about your option here. You could spend the rest of your sorry excuse for life to stay in hell with no worries and get tortured for eternity, or you could claw your way back to the top and get your vengeance to those who wronged you. When those words left his mouth, I was kinda surprised a little but still proceeded cautiously. Is he talking about a second chance? Like bringing me back to life? I was dead, and I'm pretty sure a demon can't bring a soul back. But then again, if I do have an opportunity to get my revenge, then I won't mind making a deal with the devil. However, I need to approach this cautiously. After all, there's no such thing as a free deal. What do you mean, bring me back to life? You're not a god, you're a demon. True, but let me ask you something first. How did you die in the first place? He asked. I was a little reluctant to answer it, but I feel like I got nothing to lose, so I just bite the bullet. I was killed in an alley by that hell spawn that claimed they were the next generation of heroes. I asked while remembering what happened there. Let me guess, during your time before you got killed, you felt a rush of energy that flows to your body in your previous life. He answered, how did you? I asked while having a surprised look, but he interjected. Then you need to find an outlet for that energy, and surprise, surprise, you meet your friends right. You fight and rush in, but somehow, you didn't finish the job and that energy is still inside of you. That rush of adrenaline that you felt, it's still inside of you, right? He finished answering while looking smugly as if he just hit the nail. I was stunned. Does he know exactly what's going on with me? I still feel that energy up until now. That adrenaline and anger that I felt right now, it's not gone yet. In fact, it almost felt like it never left me in the first place. I was confused. How do you know about it? I asked while looking at him intensely, trying to figure out what is going on. He smugly answers my question. Come on, you're a smart kid. You should be able to figure it out. Then my brain went into overdrive. What does he mean? He said that he knows that rush of energy that I felt. But I never tell anyone about it. It just happened so suddenly and it awakened before my death. So did he see it when I got my butt kicked? But why didn't he step in right there? Or could he read my mind? No, he doesn't look like someone that could read my mind. Or perhaps he took possession of my body during that fight. But I was in control of my action that day, so it's not possession. But something clicked in my memories. He said that he knows that feeling I had when I fought against them before I died. The way he said it, it's almost not by observing but by experience. It's you right. I answered while my eyes were bulging. That wave of energy is yours, right? It took a couple of seconds, but he just laughed a little bit. Heh, not bad for a puny human. Yeah, that's right. That power that you felt before you were dead, that was mine. I lost my words after hearing that. This demon in front of me just gave me power in the last second, and now here he was standing in front of me in this void. I don't know what to say except say to him the obvious. Why me? What do you mean? He asked. You could have given this power to someone else, but why me? What makes me so special? I asked while crossing my arms. Well, for one thing, you haven't had my power yet. What you just experienced, it's nothing but a fraction of my full power. You're not some sort of a chosen one destined to wield this power. You have to earn it. He explained to me. What do you mean earn it? I was getting more confused about what is going on right now. What you felt before is nothing but a sample, a test drive if you know what I mean. It's just that you have what it takes to wield my power there. Most people would have died in progress to wield my powers, or even before they have a chance to use it. He explained it. But I died, I replied back. But you were dead not because of my powers, remember, you were killed by your friends while bearing my power, he explained further. I still had questions about what was going on. What makes me compatible anyway? What separates me from the others that have failed? The answer to that is rage, he responds. What do you mean? While slightly confused, the key to my power is rage. The more you felt any negative feeling, the stronger you feel. Now what separates you from those that failed is that their rage wasn't strong enough. Like it's an empty rage that has no point. If your rage wasn't entirely focused on something or someone, then it's pointless. Like throwing a tantrum, he explained to me. I'm starting to get what he said, but I still had one question. You said that I have to earn this power of yours. What do you mean by that? He smirked a little before answering. Well, in order for you to wield my power, you need to indulge in a place where all damned souls are stuck and trapped for eternity to face their eternal torture. Care to take a guess? My eyes were open when he said that. There was only one place that I could think of that matched the description, and I looked at him as if he was crazy, but then again I'm standing in the middle of a void talking to a demon, so crazy is already out of the window. You mean hell? I answered him, exactly, I mean how else are you gonna do it? He looked at me as if I was crazy. I'm gonna send you to hell and you have to prove how worthy you are to me, and how am I gonna do that? I asked tiredly. By taking the seat of the next king of hell, he replied. Wait, what? I flabbergasted. Now I think he was joking. Well, currently hell is being ruled without a ruler. The previous ruler is gone and he didn't appoint the next successor, so it's quite a chaos in there. No rules, no regulation, no authority. Just a bunch of demons in full revolt. And right now, they fight for power in hell. And those who stand at the top and manage to prove themselves worthy will become the king of hell. He explained, so it's kinda like a competition in hell, whoever is worthy enough could rule hell. Is that what you're trying to explain here? I answer while looking slightly amused. Now you get it. Seems that tiny brain of yours still has enough juice for you to think, he said mockingly. But how do I becoming the king of hell will get my revenge? I asked while trying to figure it out. Well, if you manage to take a seat as the king of hell, it comes with a privilege. You could be walking back between two realms and purge the souls of the corrupted. Maybe you have a certain damned soul in there that you want to collect personally. He answers while mentioning to me about those family and friends that I mentioned before. So what's it gonna be? Are you willing to throw the dice and take your shot for your personal vendetta? After he was done explaining it to me, I began to think. 14 years of my life and what I ever accomplished. Nothing but a pile of 𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧. My life is full of 𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧. I was dead because of those asshats that claimed to be heroes. If they were the representation of heroes, then I don't want to be a hero. All I want is to make them pay for what they did to me. I will do it no matter what it takes. If I had to make a deal with a demon just to have a chance to drive a knife to Izumi's heart, then I would do it in a heartbeat. Izumi, Katsuki, Katsumi, Shoto, Shoka, Toshinori, Inko, those who made fun of him, those who use me for their gain, and those who make his life a living hell. Will get revenge. I'll do it, I answer with no hesitation. You might die, you know, he taunts me while smirking. Well, what's the difference? I replied while looking him in the eye. Satisfied with my resolve, 𝗲𝗪𝗲 stood up while looking at me and saying his final word. Very well, Izuku Yagi. I 𝗲𝗪𝗲, also known as the perdition demon, wish you good luck and hope we'll see each other on the other side. As he snaps his finger when suddenly a portal appeared behind me and I was falling to which I presume is hell. As he snaps his finger when suddenly a portal appeared behind me and I was falling to which I presume is hell, I screamed as I started to fall into what I presumed hell. The portal is filled with many sorrows and screams of many lost souls as I joined in. My body is starting to free fall and I lost my sense of gravity. This is it. No longer am I the Izuku that gets pushed around and treated as nothing but a Deku. Now it's my turn to be someone else. To be a revenger for those who wrong me. Izumi POV. It's been almost 10 months since that day in the forest. 10 months that I lost my brother, all because of my stupidity, and things have started to go downhill since that day. After we arrived at UA that night, Nizu and all of the UA staff held an emergency meeting to decide our fate, whether we were allowed to enter UA school. After nearly 4 hours, the meeting was over and they called all of us and they decided that all of our recommendations are being rejected, and the fact that we were already allowed to enter UA is already a blessing. During the 10 months before we took the test for the UA entrance exam, all of us were under house arrest and wearing an ankle bracelet with GPS attached. If we decide to leave the premises under 300 meters, then we get thrown into jail immediately. However, Just before they could punish us, Dad decided to contact the 𝗵𝗃𝗃 and they choose to intervene in this matter, saying that the daughter of the symbol of peace can't go to prison for a simple matter of quirkless child. Saying that the symbol of peace must be free from all flaws and can't have dirt or stain on it, or the crimes in Japan will skyrocket because of this. Nizu with a heavy heart has to say that the 𝗵𝗃𝗃 is interfering with the decision because of me as All Might's daughter and that they don't want to lose 22 heroes in training students over a case of a dead quirkless kid. So they decided to sweep this matter under the rug and the rest of us is get away with no punishment as much to Aizawa's dismay. However, what happened inside the UA is fair play, as Nizu said. He told us that we all need to attend therapy and anger management before and during UA. After that, we had to wear a quirk-canceling bracelet inside of the classroom, and after we graduate from UA, for the first 5 years we only get half paid as our paycheck will be transferred to the quirkless community. After we were done with the meeting, Nizu decided to leave us with one final word before we left the room. You kids are lucky because the 𝗵𝗃𝗃 decided to intervene with this matter. I have no choice but to accept you into the UA hero course. You're all lucky that what you committed is off the record, because if it wasn't you wouldn't walk through UA right now. However, I could still make your time in UA unpleasant. Aizawa will become your homeroom teacher and he's been given full authority to run his class however he sees fit. So if he wants you to attend a certain class during your holiday, you will comply no matter what. If he wants to train you to the bone, you will do it till he tells you to stop, and if he wants to expel you, then he can do it without the need for my authorization. If you had any problem with this, you all know where the door is and can apply to other schools, but I doubt that they offer the leniency that we had considering the crimes you committed. After that, we left the school and I could see that all of my friends were being dragged straight to their homes waiting to get chewed off by our parents. When we arrived, Mom just went upstairs and went to bed without saying a word. She's still in shock after what happened, and Dad just went to the living room and sat on the couch while looking at the family picture except without Izuku on it. On the day of Izuku's funeral, Mom and Dad want to go to the funeral to pay their respect to Izuku, but Uncle Enji, Aizawa, and Grand Torino forbid them to go anywhere near Izuku's grave. They argued that they have every right to go to the funeral, but Grand Torino sternly said that they were not part of his life before and coming to his funeral now would be nothing but a huge disrespect to his name and Hisashi. The rest of my friends weren't also allowed to join them to visit Izuku's grave as well, and if they decide to sneak in or join in without them knowing, then they could kiss their spot at UA for good. Ever since that day, our home is in shambles. Mom hasn't been her usual self, she's just sitting at the table while contemplating everything that just happened. She didn't know why she abandoned her son just like that. She truly misses him and she would give up everything just to see him one more time. But she knows that it's too late. She had failed her son. You'll also like That Day //Villain Deku by Musical Leaf Juice 15 That Day //Villain Deku 3M1K That day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could Izuku Yagi. Hades Ring by Rix 999 Izuku Yagi. Hades Ring K9K 4 months have passed since the war between Japan and Outcast of Hell. Izuku Yagi is being locked in an unknown facility facing his punishment for his wrongdoing. The New Life with No Memories by 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 New Life with No Memories 4K9K Izuku Yagi, son of Inko Yagi and Toshinori Yagi. Izuku was always a happy child full of energy and enthusiasm. That was until he was diagnosed quirkless. Luckily his Yoon One Bad Life by 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃 One Bad Life 3K That day, they didn't know what they had lost. Izuku Yagi was born quirkless. His sister, Izumi Yagi, on the other hand, had an extremely powerful quirk that could match 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃 by passing ghost friend 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗃 K5K. Izuku quit dreaming of becoming a pro hero after 3 times of being denied. He decided to screw it and just be normal. He has part-time jobs. He recently graduated. Don't Let Go by Warrior Dragon 215 Don't Let Go 3K2K. Izuku always wondered where he went wrong in his life. He wondered what he did wrong to deserve everything he got. After I in turn messed up telling his parents he didn't, Dad is just still doing his job as a pro hero and still the #1 hero. But I know that behind that smile is nothing more than a mask that my dad wore in front of the public. When he came home, he just sat on the couch while punishing himself every day. Sometimes, I could see him crying while looking at his old room under the stairs, telling him that he is sorry for being such a failure of a father. He kept thinking that if he just said yes to Izuku that day, then maybe his son wouldn't be in a grave right now. Maybe he would be training with him in the backyard for the UA entrance exam.
Over time things
have gotten better at home. Mom and Dad have gotten better and things are starting to go back to normal. Dad has decided to give me one for all. At first, I felt that I didn't deserve it because if anyone deserved it, it would be Izuku and not her. But Dad persuaded me to wield it and be a better hero in the name of her brother. So I accepted it and I began to train with my dad to wield one for all to be a better hero for my brother. In the last 10 months, I began to train using one for all. Dad took me to train at a beach called 𝗳𝗏𝗄𝐵 Municipal Beach. It's filled with trash that's been there for years. The once appealing beach has turned into a trash heap. Looking at this beach, kinda represent her brother in a way. The once appealing thing had turned into something ugly because of the people's actions. Wanting to honor my brother, I decided to clean this beach and turned it into a once appealing place. It's a small deed for me to make this appealing place back to its original state. After training for 10 months, my good deed had finally paid off as the beach had turned clean. There are no more trashes laying around there as the sands and the surrounding has turned immaculate. And my training had finally paid off as I managed to accumulate strength and managed to hold one for all at 15%. Today is my first day at UA High. I got up from my bed and headed to my bathroom. I took a shower and brushed my teeth. Then I wore my UA uniform, then I went downstairs and made my breakfast. After I finished eating, I grabbed a plastic bag with a plastic container on the inside before I headed out. I didn't want to wake my parents cause it was still 6 in the morning, so I walked slowly. After I go out, I'm headed to see someone before I go to UA. I'm walking alone with a plastic bag filled with food and a flower in my hands as I reach my destination and gently sit in front of it. I took out the plastic bag and opened the container. It was a bowl of 𝗧𝗵𝗲. I placed it in front of me along with the flower and I took a deep breath before I said my words. Hello Oni-chan, right now I'm sitting in front of my brother's grave. It's been 10 months since the incident and I still miss him very much. I finally made it to UA but not how you imagine because of what happened, I said with a sad face. I miss you, Oni-chan. Mom and Dad miss you too. They still think of you every day. A tear was rolling down my cheek. Izumi, is that you? Someone said. I turned around and I saw Katsumi with a flower bouquet in her right hand. Guess she came to visit my brother too. Katsumi, how have you been? I asked while wiping the tears on my face. Well, you know, same old, same old. She replied while looking at the grave with a sorrowful expression. How long have you been here? Katsumi asked me. Oh, I just arrived not too long ago, I answer her while moving over to make room for her to join. Katsumi places the bouquet in front of the grave as he wore a sad face. Both of us just sit in front of the grave while Katsumi decided to speak in front of the grave after 10 months. Hey Izuku, it's me. Well, not that you care about me come to your grave anyway. I just want to say I'm sorry Izuku for everything, the bullying, the abuse, the beating, everything. If I just opened my eyes sooner then you would be joining us right now. We probably already walking to UA. Right now we're probably classmates instead of me walking there by myself. I'm sorry Izuku, I truly am. Then Katsumi just broke down in tears as she was just crying in front of my brother's grave. It must have been hard for her, for an abuser like us to come pleading for forgiveness in front of the victim. After she's done talking, we just pray in front of the grave for about 10 minutes, then we're leaving to head to UA, but not before we say our goodbye to Izuku. As we made our way toward UA, we noticed that Shoto, Shoka, and Katsuki were waiting for us at the entrance. Although Katsuki looks as sour as always. Izumi, Katsumi over here, Shoka waves her arms as she calls out to us. Hey, it's been a while since we saw you guys, I replied brightly after seeing them. Yeah, it's been a while, Shoto said in his monotone voice. So what happened to you two? You guys nearly came late, Shoka asked curiously. Oh, you know, I replied but with a little hint of sadness. You just came from there, didn't you? Shoto asked me. Yeah, we did, Katsumi replied while looking down trying to hide her tears. It's okay, we still miss him too, you know, Shouka said while trying to comfort us. I know, it's just he should be here. It's always his dream, you know. Izumi said sadly. There's no use thinking about that anyway, we should be headed to the class now, Katsuki replied while turning his back towards us. So we headed to the class, and along the hallways, we could see some of the students walking and chatting around in the hallway with happy and excited faces, thinking that they finally made it to UA, the best hero school in Japan. When we walk inside, the hallway is filled with bursts of talk and laughter, and sounds of quirks greeted them through the hallways. 15 minutes have passed and finally, we arrive at the 1A classroom front door. They took a moment to take in that they were finally going to UA High, but considering all the strings that they pulled, it's a miracle that they didn't sit in a concrete prison right now. We opened the door and we started to walk in just as they were hoping for. All of our friends are in the same class as them. All 22 of us are going to be in the same class for a whole 3 years. Normally this would have made me excited, but the atmosphere in the classroom was different from what they had just walked into 15 minutes ago. If the hallway is filled with joy and laughter, the class right now is having an atmosphere of a funeral. They were just sitting in the class while looking at the table. Some of them, like Kaminari, Mina, Kirishima, and Siro, are still making small talk. 𝗧𝗪𝗏, Tsuyu, and Ida are talking as well. But I could see a certain raven ponytail girl sitting near the corner alone with a gloomy face. Momo Yaoyorozu is sitting in silence while looking at the window. She's been thinking about this day like me as well. The total number of seats in the classroom is 22, which is supposed to be 23. She's still having problems, as I tried to help her out, but this is something that she has to do by herself. Both of them are still thinking about a certain messy dark green hair kid with diamond freckles on his cheek. They know that they still miss him to this day, but it's hard to move on from someone, especially like my brother. When we arrive, we start to chat with each other in the classroom, trying to catch up with the rest of them. It's been a long time since they saw each other, and I miss some of them like 𝗬𝗪𝗏, Mina, Kirishima, Ida, and others. Unfortunately, we were so busy catching that we didn't notice a certain black-haired man walking into the classroom. If you're here to make friends and play catch-up, then leave now, said the black-haired man. I turned around and I saw my uncle Aizawa standing on the podium. Not that I'm allowed to call him uncle ever since that night. And based on his expression, he looked like he didn't want to be there, so I hurried back to my seats along with my friends. When we were all sitting in our respective seats, he continued to speak up again. It took 8 seconds for all of you to shut up. That won't work. Time is precious. Now for those who didn't know me, or in case you forgot, my name is Shota Aizawa, your homeroom teacher, he said in his monotone voice. Then all of a sudden he starts to use his quirk while looking at all of us while speaking venomously. It almost suffocated us by the way he looked and talked to us. The once warm classroom has turned into a chilling place. I want all of you to know that none of you deserve to have a seat inside a UA school, let alone a hero course. Since the government chose to intervene with your action, we had no choice but to accept you, Aizawa said sternly. So here's how it's gonna be for the next 3 years. I hold the authority to expel any student that I wish inside my classroom, and needless to say that all of you will be in the same class for 3 years. If I caught, saw, or even heard about any of your actions that make me question your place at this school, I don't care what Nizu has to say, I would expel you with no hesitation. And the moment you left this school, your record is an open book for anyone to see, which meant no hero school or any school in the world would accept a murderer in their classroom no matter the reason. If you think it's not fair, then you know where the door is, Aizawa said with a venomous tone. When Aizawa-sensei finished talking, I felt the guilt that I felt 10 months ago just come back, and it's haunting me back. I looked around and the rest of my friends could only lower their heads in shame. What are you standing there? You had 10 minutes to change and headed to the ground. We're doing a quirk assessment. If you're late, then I'll expel you. Not wanting to challenge Sensei's threat, I decided to rush in and get changed as fast as I could. Minutes have passed and we all barely made it there. Sensei is standing there with an unamused face. You're barely here. Good, now we're gonna do a quirk assessment test. Katsuki Bakugo, what was your last ball throwing result back in your junior high? Aizawa asked while picking a ball. 67 meters? He growls as usual and Sensei just throw the ball at him. Use your quirk to throw it this time. Bakugo just looks at him with a smug grin. as he uses his quirk to throw the ball to give it a little kick. Aizawa looks at the metering device as he shows it to the class 705. 2 meters, while looking unamused. "Whoa, that's manly Baku bro," Kirishima said while congratulating the blonde, spiky-haired friend. "Alright, we get to use our quirk, this should be fun," Mina says while cheering. Unfortunately, Mina's statement broke Aizawa's patience as he started to look at the student menacingly. "Huh, fun you said, well then, let's make this test more fun, shall we? The person whose scores don't match my standard will be expelled," he said monotone as the rest of the class was shocked by the information. "What?" the rest of the class yelled. I was shocked beyond belief. I know that he holds the full authority of our classroom, but this feels a little overboard. Expelling a student on the first day. "But that's not fair," 𝗬𝗧𝗎𝗃 claimed. "Yeah, you can't just expel us on the first day," Mina retorts as Aizawa was triggered to them with the previous statement. "Unfair. Is that what you want to call this situation? Let me remind you one more time that I have full authority to run my class however I see fit. And considering what you all have done in the past, I don't think you had the right to tell me what is fair or not. If you have a problem, then talk to the principal or pack your bags right here and now. I won't stop you at all," Aizawa said as he narrowed his eyes to those he despised. "Life is not fair. So deal with it," Aizawa added with a little anger, while I and the rest of them looked into the ground as Katsuki just act like he doesn't give a damn. "Well then, let's have some fun, shall we?" Aizawa said in his infamous 𝗧𝗚𝗧𝗍𝗔 grin as they looked at him in fear of what's gonna happen to their school life now. The test itself was something that is quite basic, such as 50-meter dash, grip strength, long jump, side step, ball throw, and many others. But some of us are failing a couple of the tests, and based on Sensei's expression, he was hoping that the test result was below his expectations so that he could expel us. After we were done with the test, we were holding our breath tiredly as the test had finally been over. Aizawa-sensei is currently assessing our score and he's showing us the result of our test. Izumi Yagi Momo Yayorozu Katsuki Bakugu Shoto Todoroki Katsumi Bakuga Ida Tenya Shoka Todoroki. Minoru Mineta. After reviewing the test, Aizawa is just looking at them intensely for the last 5 minutes. Everyone is shaking right now. 'Cause no one knows the test standard score, and based on the previous reputation that he expelled the entire class last year, no one is feeling safe with their score right now. For all they know, they could all be expelled right now. Even Izumi is scared despite being in the first place. "Your performances are quite adequate," Aizawa-sensei said with a bored tone. All of us in exhaling a lot of air, as we know that we are still in the class for now. Some of us are quite glad that we are still in the class today. Mina want to make a comment on Sensei's words, but Kirishima hold her mouth so that the rest of the class wouldn't get into deeper trouble. "Grab your syllabus and head to the class, that's all, and I almost forgot welcome to UA High," Aizawa said while showing his signature grin. He just walked away while carrying the test result. The rest of us are standing up and all of us are thinking the same. Is this gonna be for the next 3 whole years?